Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name is David Turner. I'm here with Matt Murray,
Hello there.
James Farley,
Hello there.
and returning after a week off is Sean Bell. Hello, Sean.
Hello there.
Don't ever do that again. It's really irritating. Just be yourselves. Can we not make it a bit?
I'll be
like the
ourselves.
intro?
That was 100% natural.
Yeah, mine was natural.
Yeah. Might have
It
saved
does
mine.
my fucking. I just don't want everything
What,
to become
laughter?
a bit.
What's wrong with that? Who doesn't love a bit?
Hang on. When I didn't do it the other week, you had a go at me, and then I did
No,
it. And then...
they had a go at you. They have a go at you when you don't do it. I couldn't give a shit. It was the one thing that I respected you for, standing up for yourself.
Oh, that's gone.
And now that has gone. We would like to start the show by thanking our Patreon producers this month. They are Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks chap, Simon Nelson, Moomin Biscuit, Trans Rights are Human Rights, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gasman, Rocketman76, Smooth Monkey, Richard Sawyer, John Tempelli, Jackie Sniper, Sam Higton, Thomas is what I've got in front of me there. I like that little adjustment there. Stan, Philip with an F, Cutty, Steve Lee, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Man, Tri-State, Jack Oven, and Kenny Loggins. Thank you so much for going full Nels. We respect each and every one of you. You're keeping this boat afloat, boy. I tell you that. Patreon.com/TCGS if you want to support the show. We really fucking need it. All right, we really need it. We're about to enter the dark winter months now, and we need you to show you support.
I'll save it for the bonus show, but the shit I've had to pay out for this month. And I know you've had stuff on as well, Dave.
Food,
so I'm not like...
mortgage.
Oh, it's just been fucking unreal and completely untenable without Patreon money. So
subscriptions.
Yes, thank you. You are
OnlyFans.
All right, that's sort of the joke that I said, Matt. So I don't know why you're doing it again.
More specific, isn't it?
It's a topper.
Yeah.
It's the. I'm sorry to plug this again. It's the last week you've got to sponsor me on my 22k trek along the Thames. If you'd like to sponsor me, please go to my Twitter page at David Turners and click on the pinned tweet. It takes you to my Just Giving page in support for Special Effects, which is a brilliant charity that you should absolutely check out. Google it. Also, we've got an exciting bit of news that we want to announce here. We don't have the dates yet, but a friend of the show, good friend of the show, Ian Lee, has uncovered has found, is it like lost footage? Found footage. That's
unearthed.
I always get that
unearthed,
wrong.
yeah.
He's unearthed a load of VHS tapes, and he found on one of these VHS tapes something quite incredible. It's an hour-long, it's like an award show, a video games award show from 2004 that he hosted with Holly Willoughby. And it's called Game Stars, and he's put it on YouTube and set it to private because we're going to do a talks over with him about it. We're going to watch the full show and talks over it, and he's going to give us little insights about what happened. Think about, when we did Fun Candy, the documentary. It will be similar to that. This, honestly, I'm so excited. I've seen the very beginning of it, like the intro sequence, Ian coming out and introducing Holly Willoughby. It's in this massive venue. It's going to be amazing. And we're not going to put it in our Patreon. We are going to put it on our Twitch page, and it'll be on YouTube afterwards. Thanks, Ian, for letting us do this, because I know, I'm beyond excited. So keep your eye out for an announcement on a date for that, and you're going to want to be there.
Because
the last one was so good.
I was going to say, the last one was amazing. If you didn't watch it yet, just search Ian Lee on our YouTube channel. And the Fun Candy we talked over with Ian was incredible. It's still one of the favourite things we've done, I think, talks over, or just any video stuff. So go and search for Ian over on our YouTube channel. You can find the previous one we did.
But what's great about this is that I haven't even heard of this. I've definitely not seen it. And Ian says you will not believe the celebrities that are on this thing. So I'm really excited to see what is going on that. He said it's what was it on at breakfast time on ITV or something, which means that it's probably not going to have too many offensive 2004-esque jokes in it. So we might be all right.
I don't know.
But
from that era, it didn't really matter, did it?
I know. Everyone was edgy. So
and
keep your eye out.
just to confirm, it won't be Patreon. It'll be just live on standard Twitch, not for patrons. The old one is just it's for everyone on YouTube as well. So yeah, I want to get as many of you there watching it live as we do.
And we'll post up on socials when we've sorted out a date and we're ready to do it. But get excited because this is going to be amazing. That's enough plugging. We should get to feedback for last week's show. Sean, I assume you've got a comprehensive list of items you want to discuss from last week's show, have you?
No, just a couple of things. It's been a bit of a week. I was off last week because Isaac had just been ill and Looper was, my dog, was neutered last Monday. Except during the course of last week, he's developed a really bad infection as a result of said neutering. So, head's been a bit all over the shop, to be honest. But, did enjoy the episode. It was very good. The only thing I was really going to mention, the PS5 Pro. Matt, come on, man. Just admit the PS4 Pro it didn't work out.
It worked out for me.
Because you got it and you were just
what do you mean?
we couldn't get you to say like a single positive thing about it other than I'm just glad I've got it.
Well, isn't that enough?
And then,
isn't that enough?
And then cut to a year later, it sounded like a fucking jet engine every time.
Yeah, but it was still quieter than the previous PS4.
It's a couple of weeks.
We went up there at launch weekend and it was loud.
That's
and
right.
going, it's not done this before. It's not done this before.
Maybe too many people in the room. I don't know, but no.
Speaking of loud consoles, though, have your Series X's started making insane noises yet?
No, mine's all right.
I tell you something. I opened it up like it was really loud. I'm like, opened it up this weekend, and honestly, you take a bit of dust out and it goes whisper quiet again. I could not believe how much of a difference it made. So
maybe I should do that.
And it's quite easy to open up, Matt. So
I've got
I'll help you with that.
My TV cabinet, like basically, I've got consoles on either end, and I have to have the doors open because if I don't, like, it gets too hot in those little boxes. So I do it for both of them because they heat those little boxes up way too much, and basically the whole TV bench will be on fire.
Hold on. You can't just put the console in a cupboard and then keep the doors closed.
Well, exactly. That's what I said. I keep the doors open when I play them.
Okay, all right.
So well done
Put it in
for
a cupboard
listening.
with like all my towels and stuff. You know, just...
Yeah, right.
And my matches, and my saunas.
I mean, Sean's absolutely right. You need to really check yourself for this stuff, Matt. What's fascinating, and we're going to get to it in the news, is that we're pretty sure they're announcing this thing tomorrow, the PS5.
They're doing an announcement event. Yeah, tomorrow.
I cannot wait to see what they say to try and get you to buy it. Honestly, I cannot.
Well, the thing is, it's not because from the tweet, it's a Mark Cerny presentation.
Yeah.
So it might be 50-minute ASMR fest.
Oh, it will be full technical, yeah.
Isn't it 9 minutes?
It's only not. Yeah, it's 9
Oh,
minutes
is it?
long.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like 9 minutes of technical specs, like presumably, and
Fine.
that's it.
I'm all right with that. I still watch the original PS5 one he did. Just put it on sometimes. It's nice. It's good.
I'm really hoping he's going to announce the return of Ken Kutaragi, and he's just going to come back in and then just, sell 2 or something like that. I don't know. It'd be good.
You really hoping that, or is that a gag?
It's. Yes, I'm hoping that.
Yes. You put him on the spot like that. You can't.
Yes, I am.
I just want to see what angle they're going with. Well, no, this one's definitely 4K though.
Yeah.
So this one is
real.
I promise. We promise this time. We promise.
This is not. I think they're gonna say a lot of this is true 4K.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Matt will go, well, I'm convinced. Matt,
I'm in.
It's not even started yet. Anyway, you're absolutely right. Thanks for bringing that up again, Sean.
No worries.
Anything else?
That was pretty much it. I definitely enjoyed it. I just forgot to make notes.
Well, are you proud, Sean, that I didn't kill it and it worked?
Oh yeah,
that's all down to you, by the way,
great.
because you
we
gave
have
me
had
instructions.
We have had some slightly snarky feedback about the stream, but
Okay, good. I'm looking forward to
Brilliant.
that.
but it's about the way I've set it up rather than the way you've implemented it. So
whoever it is, I'm gonna knock them out. Okay, let's go.
Matt, it's you. You're doing the
I was
feedback.
waiting for the proper. I was waiting for the intro. I was waiting for a bit of a.
I did it a while ago when you were rambling about knocking one out or something.
No, knocking the listener out. Get it right. Clark B, formerly known as Kenny Loggins. Hey up, lads. Tis I, your new Fornells, Kenny Loggins. I subscribe and then noticed my name was out of date on Patreon, which should now be Clark B. It wasn't. Sorry.
Sorry. Thanks for going full nails, Clark B.
Yeah. I've never subbed before, but I think you're right that someone called Kenny Loggins was an old Patreon.
You all know
Yeah,
who Kenny
I'm pretty
Loggins
sure.
is, right?
Yeah.
That was okay. Because from last week's discussion, it wasn't entirely clear. Because you're sort of like,
I
where
don't.
do we know that name from? And no one was
No,
like,
yeah,
the
so
Top
like
Gun
I know.
music guy. Like,
Yeah, I know that, but
Yeah.
then I know that name mainly because of Cole Pilkington. Do you remember?
no.
It was he used to was it Rockbusters where he
Yeah.
said was it a Geordie person can't get into his computer KL and the answer was Kenny Loggins.
Oh,
But no,
Rockbusters
we
was
definitely. I'm
good.
pretty sure I've read it out on the on the Patreon list before. That's where I recognised it from. All right,
Seamus? No. Seamus?
Seamus,
Seamus.
Regarding the PS5 Pro chat, I'm firmly on
Matt,
Dave's.
what's my name?
Seamus.
Cian,
Sheehan.
Cian.
Okay. Anyway, this person. Regarding the PS5 Pro chat, I'm firmly on Dave's side with this. Anybody considering this as a purchase is nuts. In 4 years, Sony have only released a total of 9 dedicated first-party PS5 games that you couldn't play on PS4. There are 2 things that could be true. Either the PS5 has yet to be pushed to its limits, therefore releasing an upgrade now is far too early, or Sony have realised that the PS5 is far too underpowered to achieve the things they claimed it could do and has already reached the limits of what it's capable of. Both of these scenarios are not good for the consumer, so purchasing a PS5 Pro is sending a clear message to Sony that it's okay for them to screw its customers. Have we all forgotten how burned we got with a PS4 Pro? Don't know what you're talking about, mate.
Matt's forgotten about it.
I haven't forgotten. Don't care up yours. But no, I mean, like, it doesn't matter what we do. They're going to keep doing this, like, this mid-gen refresh.
Also, honestly, who cares? Because the thing is, like, if you don't want to buy one, just don't buy one. It's like.
But then is there the risk that
sad.
that devs will just be like, oh well, we'll just target the Pro.
They're not going to do that though.
The regular PS5 owners can get a shitty 30 FPS version.
But they're not going to do that because, like, with the PS4 and the PS4 Pro, they didn't do that, did they? Like,
no, and also like the amount is going to be so small compared to the wealth of PS5 consoles.
With the Pro, the PS4 Pro, there was a lot of stuff basically saying like, mate, just set it to 1080p because it's not proper 4K anyway, and everything will run better if you just set it to 1080p.
Also, you're an elitist knob, James, because the reason why you're saying, "Hey, man, it doesn't really matter," because you're gonna fucking buy one. Like that's it.
I'm not
for
confirming
me,
or denying that. I'm just saying
you're gonna buy one.
I don't
for
know
me,
if I'm gonna buy one or not. But what
I
I'm
can't
saying
afford
is, like,
one,
it doesn't
and
matter.
I'm gonna
It's
be
like...
sad that I can't have the best one now. I haven't got the best. Oh, remember that best one that you've got in the front room? It's not the best one anymore, but I want the best one.
Yeah, I hate that.
And then James is going, "What's the problem?" As he's unboxing his new fucking £700 console. You know,
a meat cake. I should say I'm broadly supportive of the PS5 Pro purely because a friend of mine has said that they're probably going to get one, in which case I can have their PS5 for a knockdown price.
That is decent.
So maybe
maybe they're good.
This is finally it. Yeah, maybe it's all right.
Sam
actually.
White.
Yep.
Yeah, it's always good to have a rich friend, isn't it? Sean? It's always good to have a wealthy friend.
The very graphics card that is running this stream brought to you by Sam White.
So why are you friends with Sam White? He lets me feed on the crumbs when he is finished. God, sorry, Matt, what are you saying?
Yeah, someone's already asked to buy my PS5 off me, so I think if anything, it's why not?
Was
now?
it Sean?
It was Sam White actually. It was like a weird. I don't know how.
I'm selling mine to Asher, so that's gonna.
Poor Asher.
So we're going to move on from how many Switches has James Farley got to how many fucking PS5s has he got?
Oh God! All right,
true,
go on.
Billy Bobtastic. Hi there. I played at least 1 hour of game.
Can I just make a point? Sorry, it's just hit me. You got a PS5. You're thinking about getting a PS5 Pro, James.
I'm not.
You've
really,
still got
honestly.
a Series S.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, but what am I going to play on it? Honestly.
Well, James, okay, yes,
Yeah, good point.
Halo Infinite.
Minecraft.
Fable's coming out eventually.
There was a thing. The Xbox account on Instagram posted a thing that was like it was like, oh, pick a night out. A night in out of these 4 generations. So it was like the original Xbox, and it was like
Sorry,
Halo.
what?
It's
That
like
sounds a bit
Halo
wrong.
2.
What?
Pick a
And it
night
was like-
in. An entire night in. Okay, move on. What is the answer?
And it was like, oh, picking out like it's like right. It's like you've got an original Xbox with Halo 2 and like Simpsons Hit and Run.
Yeah, that was weird. I saw that.
It was so weird because especially when you get to like the third one, it's like, do you want Halo 5 Guardians? And so I was like,
No,
no.
No
we
one wants
don't want that. We don't want that. Also,
It was just, it
What
made
did
it look
you-
like only half of Halo has ever been any good. It's really weird.
Matt, please write down what is the answer as one of the episode titles. 'Cause I enjoyed that. Okay, all right, next.
Billy Bob Tastic. Hi there. I play at least 1 hour of games a week and can commit to 3 out of 4 Mondays a month for recording. I make tedious puns and never admit when I'm wrong. Would Dave and Sean be interested in splitting the Patreon money with me instead of Matt and James? I like both FIFA and Flobble Dobble 7, so I think we'll make a good trio. Also, Matt, please be careful with the hair transplants. My flatmate got one and his head swelled up like Squidward. Well, the swelling is part of it. Swelling is
Level
part of
7
it.
is the connoisseur's choice out of the Flobble Double series, so that's pretty good.
It is a good one. It is a good one.
Good old FD7. Look. I mean, I'm open to replacements. I'll be honest with you at this point. Maybe we got to start talking.
Yeah, James.
about
I think we could probably lose James. I reckon.
Well, I
James,
suppose we'd-
could you
Go on.
go on?
I was just going to say we're sort of loosely like a cooperative, so do we have to vote people out?
Oh, like traitors.
Deadlock as well.
Yeah,
I'll do a deal.
James will vote himself out. I'll be like, yeah, I'm gone.
So that would be funny.
It's time.
James, how would you feel if we said, "Look, listen, I think it's time to move on" or whatever, or if we say we're going to end the podcast and then we sorry, I just had a better
What was
idea. I just had a better idea.
What was that?
Oh, God,
Sorry,
I just had a better
ladies and
idea.
gentlemen who missed the pre-show chat, Matt's had a beer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Much funnier now.
Yes. Could you imagine if we announced that we were going to quit the show and CCGS was ending, and the day after it ended, we started a new podcast with the three of us and someone else? Slightly changed the name. How would you feel, James?
I feel slighted, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Next bit of feedback.
Oh, I don't know how would you say that? Oh,
I got tears in my eyes.
okay. Okay, Philip with an F. Evening, guys. Excellent pod as always. Feedback. Oh, we should move this, but whatever. Feedback on the PS5 Pro chat from me. I will no doubt be very tempted with it because I'm an idiot. But I strongly recommend you consider its merit against a different purchase that will have a much bigger impact on your gaming habits: the Steam Deck. The new OLED models are really nice, have a similar form factor to the Portal, which you guys seem to think, which you guys seem to love, and will you unlock a host of PC/Steam only games you don't have access to at the moment. Think about it, David. You could play mini shoot adventures, which is almost worth it on its own. Thanks again for a stellar episode, and keep up the brilliant work from Philip.
What is wrong with Steam people? What is wrong with these people? Leave me alone.
Haven't
I mean,
said
you know what
no enough
it's a bit like
times.
Amiga owners. It's a bit like people that had Amigas, like during the end of the Amiga's lifespan. They was going
Breaking
on about
Bad
the Amiga.
fans. Do you remember that?
Well, hang on. What's wrong with?
Look, I'm a Breaking Bad fan,
Yeah.
but you've got to see. You have got.
You haven't seen that?
You've got to see that. I don't know. The Steam Deck just gives me, honestly, a headache whenever I see. Because the guy at work's got one, and whenever I see him like use it or whatever, it's like, oh, you got to see this game. Look, hold on, I just got to.
Let me collect a
boot
keyboard
into
to it.
this.
And
And I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, mate,
you can
I
mostly have like any time I've had to mess with it, it's because I've gone out of my way to do something it's not necessarily
Right.
supposed to do, right?
Sure.
But then because there is that part of you, it's like, yeah, but it's technically like an entire fucking computer, right? It can do anything. But if you can just stick to just playing stuff on Steam that is verified for the deck, and there are fucking thousands of games, it is more or less a console-esque experience. But
I just don't want to. Just,
All right, fine. Okay.
I suppose that's the answer I've got there.
Yeah, I mean, if
okay.
Dave was considering a PS5 Pro, which I know he isn't, my first thing would be like, well, surely a Quest 3 or whatever the new Quest Lite is would be a better in terms of what you would actually get out of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing that gets me about the Quest stuff, right, and the reason why I haven't bought a new Quest is because I know what I'm going to do with it. It will sit in a drawer for several months, and then I'll get it out and play intensely the golf one and the poker one, right? Mm-hmm. I'll play those two intensely for about 6 weeks, and then it'll go back in the drawer again for ages. And that's why, and I've done that, so I don't really want to go back to do that again.
I know what you mean. Like I know I've said before, I'm the same. It's a habit I fall in and out of. Like I have to,
Yeah.
I will stop using it for weeks at a time, and then I'll have to really be like, right, I have to force myself to do it. And I'm always really glad I did, but it's like I really have to go out of my way because it's not just on the telly, and it's not, it's a weird one.
But then also, I think the difference between me and you is that when it comes to VR stuff is that you like playing single player VR games and you like playing new VR games. Whereas like even when I had one that was relevant, I didn't enjoy that at all. All I wanted to do was play poker and golf again. It was like oh, this is just sitting here doing this one thing. And I know I should get one because my mates want to get back into the poker, and Chet Roivas hasn't played fucking walkabout mini golf, and I'm like, that will destroy your life. Yeah, he would. But it's just it's finding. But you're right. If I was saying, oh no, I'm definitely getting a PS5 Pro instead of say a Steam Deck, then you'd have every right to go. Oh, hold on a minute. But really, and there's part of me that's also thinking, right, I've never been in a position. I've never been in a position where I've been able to really like when the new Nintendo console come out. Go. I want the new Nintendo console and all the bells and whistles. And what I've essentially been doing with the Patreon money is saving up for when that new Nintendo console comes out, because I'm going full Matt Murray on that launch. Believe me.
But also, will you have to buy one for Harry and Charlie at the same time?
Absolutely no.
Okay.
No, they've got the Switches. They're not even really into. Harry's like not into Nintendo stuff. He's not touched Astro Bot. He's not touched Astro Bot.
What? Yeah, do you know? I had the same thing with Asher. Like he's watched me play it, and I'm like, don't you want to have a go? And he's just not interested. And I just don't understand it.
Yeah, it's the age. It's his age. Like Harry looks at that and goes, "Oh no, that's for kids now. I'm playing Fortnite all the time. That's that's what he's into." So he's looking at that and just going, "Nah, not for me." And Charlie's been playing it and loving it, but I just it's weird, very strange. But they're of that age now, so when the new Nintendo console comes out, I'm not letting the kids touch it. Simple as that. Next,
Capone Adam, kitchen lemon squeezer. Towards the end of the last pod, David asked when I was last on the show.
Would you have a lemon squeezer in?
I just thought that was his Cockney rhyming slang. Capone Adam, he's a proper kitchen lemon squeezer. Eh? Right? You fucking up the fucking. That's how they speak, isn't it? Those Cockneys,
we'll do it. Yeah. Towards the end of the last pod, David asked when I was last on the show, and if it's time again. It was episode 323 from October 19th, 2022. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think it takes about 3 years for listeners to recover from a Capone Adam edit. With that being said, consider the Capone Adam shaped bat signal or a light in the skies. 2025 is the year of my TCGS comeback.
2025, new Nintendo console. Adam Capone episode of TCGS.
Jesus, doesn't get much better, does it?
It's happening.
Yep.
What a year.
Yep. Big and
Eskil Wendell. That's Eskil Wendell. I suspect it's against the rules, but I'd like to request a good luck to my cute friend Hakon Lingstad, who just moved to Japan to be a reporter for the next year. He turned me onto the show, and I like it a lot, especially episode 415, which was very refreshing.
Against the rules? Absolutely not. I'm well up for listeners saying hello to other listeners on the
love that.
Part of the show.
Get them in.
100%.
So they can make it into like a little message board.
Yeah, little message board. Hakon, you left the fridge open yesterday. If you do that again, yeah, you're gonna be in trouble because that's it's costing electricity. That.
Oh my god, maybe that's what people use it for, like passive aggressive
Yeah,
messages
real
they
sort
don't
of having
really want
digs
to
at
deliver
each other.
themselves. We'll do it
Do you
for
remember
you.
when we had a bunch of Toms having a go at each other in the
That was fun.
feedbacks?
Yeah, but yeah, I remember. Yeah,
Can't remember the names. Very good time. Very good time. All right.
very good time.
Soggy the Sea Monster. Soggy the Sea Monster. Medium time listening viewer, viewing listener, whatever. Some feedback on episode 417. Related to being one man down, the vertical slice layout on Twitch. I'm going to start again. Sorry. Related to being one man down, the vertical slice layout on Twitch was at best distorting and at worst trash. Whilst watching it, it became obvious that Dave tends to lean into the camera, so for most of the episode, there was only half his face. For Matt, it sort of worked with his 45-degree camera angle, and James just filled the frame. Please in future go back to the quartered screen layout with a placeholder image for the sickly, holidaying, conferencing member of the team. Thanks for your continuing great work, and look forward to Sean being back once he has completed Dwarf Mech War Simulator 14 Remastered. Age 3,069 weeks. Favorite color Celeste, and I do like a good tea towel from Soggy.
I will say, I preface this by saying I've got no involvement in this stuff, so it feels like I can't really comment on it. But I did look at that video afterwards and go, "Fucking hell, this is a mess." So, what have you got to say for yourself, Matt?
I'm not sure what I can say much really.
I mean, it's as I mentioned before, it's the way I've set it up, and Matt followed my instructions,
Right.
so it does kind of fall on me. No one really cares, but I'll be as quick as I can. Basically, the way we have the stream set up now is it dynamically resizes itself depending on how many people join or leave the call. Not that tends to happen mid-episode, but it just means it's easier, so I don't have to, like, at the start of every episode, I don't have to be like, oh shit, there's only 3 of us tonight, I need to, like, move these around and do
Yeah,
this,
it's
that,
much better for that.
It's a lot easier. That said, I do, take the point about the 3 vertical images. Does look kind of weird. I think there's probably a way around it. I could just add the fake guy that I used to test stuff. Have we talked about him on the show before?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
I'll just get him in.
Dude.
Or just have Dave in the middle.
Started talking about this, Sean. I looked down and James just checked out for a few minutes there. He was looking off to one side and looking at something, and then as you said something completely innocuous, he sort of nodded as if he was like, if they see me nodding, then it looks like I'm listening.
What I'll do is I'll clip this for TikTok, and then as I start speaking, I'll zoom in on James and sort of overdub it with me just going blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Fades in as he's. You with us, James?
Yeah.
Good.
Cool. Convincing. Yeah, or Dave should just go in the middle, or not lean over to the side like a twat. Trevor.
Sorry, what? This is my fault, is it?
Yeah, if you're up straight, then it'd be fine, wouldn't it?
Composed.
Yeah, but I
the
don't.
thirds,
This
boys.
is how I sit, so it's got no.
Well, I think you need to
I'm
sit
sorry, I'm not.
differently.
Don't make little slices of the camera.
I'm not. That's, as we've mentioned, that's Sean.
Okay.
Trevor has messaged, I'm just catching up as I went on vacation and I'm a few shows behind. But I've got to say, David offers the most comprehensive feedback I've ever heard. He could have pulled a Farley and simply said, it was really good. I miss I didn't get the podcast with such and such a guest. Regarding the shows he wasn't on, but he didn't. Dave gave his answer.
That was sincere feedback. There's no problem with that. Sincere.
I'll carry on. Dave gave his answer to a listener question, commented on the positives of the show, and called out what he didn't agree with in detail. I wonder if his eye for detail is due to his experience in a meticulous field like architecture. Whatever the reason, it's impressive. The show as a whole is quite impressive. Dave, did he write this?
No, I didn't, because I wouldn't have said. Maybe it's because of his job. It's not. It's because I like picking people up on things.
It's 'cause he's a
especially James Farley.
It's 'cause he's a
What?
Thank you
James
for
is
that
suddenly,
language.
James is suddenly coming to life because Darren Gargett in the chat said, has James done more than 60 seconds worth of talking this episode?
Also, you could call me a prick as much as you want, but then all I've got to do is remember what you said on the bus, and boom, that goes away. That insult. Oh, it's not a real insult, is it? No, of course it's not.
And that's why
Go
you're
on.
a prick.
What you said on the bus. Right.
That is it for feedback. Go to tcgs.co/dear TCGS. Leave your feedback.
Thank you for your feedback, but now it is time for James Farley to speak for more than 60 seconds.
It's
It's time for the
outrageous.
news.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, things have happened this week. I mean, something big happened just after. Was it just after we recorded last week, or was it
The
like
day
a
after,
day?
I think, yeah.
It's like a day after. So we had the whole Concord thing, which is now concluded for the moment, whereby Sony have now pulled this from sale and have said that the initial launch didn't land. I mean, so the game director Ryan Ellis, he put out a statement where he said, while many qualities of the experience resonated with players, we also recognise that other aspects of the game and our initial launch didn't land the way we'd intended. As such, Concord will be taken offline indefinitely so Firewalk can determine the best path ahead and explore options including those that will better reach our players. We'll keep you updated and thank you again to all the free gunners who have joined us in the Concord Galaxy. And also, I mean, everybody who's bought it is going to get like get a refund on that, on Steam or on PlayStation.
This has been one of the biggest failures in recent times, right? Especially from a major studio,
pretty wild,
major
isn't it?
publisher.
And it's crazy that it's so quick as well. Is the thing, like it's like 2 weeks,
2 weeks, yeah,
and then then it just goes offline. It's that's kind of crazy.
You do wonder whether this was projected a while ago, don't you?
I mean, after obviously we got the I don't know how long we've seen it, but obviously we saw stuff in some Game Fest, and I was like, oh, it's like, well, no, it wasn't some Game Fest because I think I missed whatever the Sony State of Play was, but I remember everyone saying, oh, it's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's actually just a hero shooter, and already there's like, oh, you know,
So, yeah,
and I
like
know
I
there's
said
a
the other
beta
week,
which wasn't
like,
massive, but yeah.
Yeah, like I said the other week, this isn't 100% the game's fault. Like, not a bad game by any means. But yeah, it definitely got off on the wrong foot when, we all saw that, Guardians-esque CGI trailer, and then it cut to gameplay footage, and it was like, oh, it's a hero shooter. Which, again, it's not the game's fault. It was just, we saw that big cutscene, it's like, oh shit, is this going to be like a big story thing? And it's going to, I mean, I wasn't blown away by that trailer. But it was like, oh, this is like a story-based thing. And it's like, no. It's like, well, why have I just spent 8 minutes watching this animated thing with the...
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's as if we should have known what that game was about before we saw the trailer, so we didn't get excited about a potential sort of squad-based...
Yeah, because then we'd have gone into being like, oh, this is just to give it a bit of flavour, like,
exactly,
with Overwatch and stuff. It's
I
think, I mean, also, like, what's it called? Helldivers 2 did so well and was such a kind of like, this is a kind of like a bit of a fresh spin on like so cooperative gameplay and stuff like that, that you're like excited for what this is going to be, and then it turned out that it was another hero shooter.
Again, though, I don't think people were looking at that going, this is a fresh spin on a extraction
That's
shooter.
exactly
wasn't
what I'm
there
saying.
like the state
No,
of
I'm
play
saying they weren't
with
doing
Helldivers,
that. No, with Helldivers, they were looking at it and going, that's all I heard. It looks like a movie. You're getting those dramatic moments of flinging yourself back while these things are climbing over rocks and stuff, and you're like, ah, and there's all that screaming and massive explosions.
But that is a fresh spin, like to a degree, on what there had been before. The way it's presented.
I hate it when you do that. No, that is what I said technically.
Well,
no,
it is.
isn't.
It's presented in a different way. How is that not different to like what there's been before?
Okay, I'm just saying that visually it looked exciting, whereas visually, no matter how good Concord was, visually that initial, and I've said this time and time again, but visually it did not look like exciting or anything different.
In the state of play where they showed it properly for the first time, there was another hero. I can't remember the name of it. There was another hero shooter that within 3 seconds looked more interesting.
Was it Marvel Rivals or?
No, it was something else. It had like weird powers. So it was like, sort of hero shooter, and then someone was going bang, and then there was like fucking grass and plants growing everywhere and shit, and it just looked kind of weird. And it's like, okay, that looks interesting. But like compared to that, Concord was like standard stuff.
And look, I'm not saying that Concord was of this level, but what I'm saying is that when I saw it for the first time, I had the same feelings when I saw Battleborn for the first time. Yeah. Now I know Concord. I've played Concord and I've played Battleborn, and Concord is way better. Like it's a much better game. But that feeling of okay, it was that, and that's not enough anymore. That's not enough. So yeah, it sucks. It sucks because obviously a lot of time and effort went into that game playing well. And to come out with, what was it, 25,000 units sold?
That's the claim, yeah.
700, 800 people active at any one time. Apparently, it's been developed for like 5 or 7 years. this is a bunch of
I thought it was
Bungie
like
people.
8 years or whatever. It's like it's
Or
a
that,
long
yeah.
time it had been in development, and then I mean, in 2 weeks to then just have all that.
When this podcast is doing better than than a game released by Sony, I mean, soon that'll be in the norm. Don't worry about it. But
Yeah, facts.
now that is not great, is it? That's
Yeah.
not great. It's
And
not
obviously, I
great.
mean, I hope it goes without saying. Obviously, our hearts go out to the developers. I literally cannot imagine what this feels like. I mean, I know that Matt and I both listened to the latest remap where they talk about this a lot. So I'm trying really hard not to just repeat talking points from that. But like they were saying, this is sort of weirdly merciful because so many games can come out like this and the team are just forced to keep working on it and keep running it, even though there's hardly anyone playing it and they know what's coming. But they just, they have to keep going. Whereas this might be, whether it is merciful or whether it is, right, they're shutting it down to give them a chance to rebuild it into something else, presumably something free to play. I don't know if that's enough.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Yeah, I mean, free to play. Sorry, so.
No, it's as awful as it is, it's oddly refreshing for someone to make this sort of decision so quickly and be like, right, obviously this isn't working, so instead of fucking dragging it out, let's just draw a line under it and see what can be done. I don't know.
I mean, I don't.
What I will say is that when this was originally announced last week, I thought, oh, they're going to make it free to play, and since then I thought, I don't think they will. I think it's gone.
They've certainly
I think
kept
it's gone now.
Open-ended, right? Like the
it's-
wording is very much we're going to see if there's a way forward, right?
Yeah, there's
I
not.
don't think it makes any
damage
sense.
is done.
To make it free to play at this stage, I don't think it makes any sense. I don't think.
Agreed.
I think if it comes out, it won't make any difference at all. This is why, hopefully, they are going to go back to it and then just think, okay, how can we retool this? Maybe make some changes and
and
to make things better.
Yeah, well, I just hope it doesn't affect the studio too much because clearly it wasn't their fault. Like the game played well and it seemed like a decent one of those games. It's just it feels really dated at this point to be releasing a game like this, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they could bring it back as an extraction shooter or as a battle royale or something else entirely different. But yeah, I think coming back, it's just another hero shooter again. Doesn't. But I thought in 2 weeks
go for another trend. I
was going to say it's still
died.
trend chasing. Yeah,
maybe it's going to standard multiplayer. Something has happened because I don't think they can say, oh yeah, it's still the hero shooter, but I don't know, slightly better. I don't know what I can really say. What I was thinking is like 2 weeks is like no data whatsoever. Like I know it is good, as you say, Sean, to actually kind of do it now without keeping them kind of struggling on and getting no results ultimately. But 2 weeks, that's like no data to even learn from in future. If they're kept on for,
that's true.
I don't know, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, they could take and whatever that data says and then say, okay, what have we learned from that to help us in the future? But 2 weeks is like, you might as well have not released it. So what have they really learned, I would say, from the players?
It must have just been because the viewer count was so low that they were
like it was actually damaging.
Yeah,
and not only that, if they've put all this work into, like, for example, this goes away for a couple of years and they come out, new Concord game, but this time it's a co-op action-adventure game, like shooting game, like where you work cooperatively with these characters and stuff, That way, people would have forgotten about the early release and the failure before it, and actually what people liked about Concord was that initial trailer where you're going, all right, it looks a bit Guardians of the Galaxy, but it looks like fun. And then when we saw the game, that was when everyone was like, I don't know, man. So hopefully they've taken that away and gone, actually, there is something here, but we need to limit the amount of damage that we're doing to the brand that we've worked on and repackage it. But who knows? It's Sony. They might just go, that's in the bin now. Studio closes down. Let's go on to something else.
Well,
like that is.
Because the other awkward thing is that one of the episodes of this upcoming anthology series about each episode is a different video game.
Oh, right.
One of those is Concord.
Yeah, and they're still going ahead.
Which was ridiculous anyway, frankly. But.
Okay.
I mean, the other thing I wonder about is what about the other live service games that Sony have got in development, because we know they have got a whole bunch, and including that one that was from the Jade Raymond studio as well, which I've forgotten the name of it. It's got a name with money in it or something like that. I can't remember the name of it, but I don't know.
It's got money in it.
No, I can't remember the name of the game.
It's
like
title.
what was it called?
Money Madness.
I mean, we don't know how many they had in development. There was always rumours about 12, but who knows how many have actually been cancelled internal projects. I mean, this is like it's the Jim Ryan factor of all this. He always live service games, and then he leaves, and then it's like we had Helldivers.
When James Googles for something, he looks like those dogs when the owners throw the blanket up and disappear behind the wall. He looks like one of those dogs where he's like completely baffled by what he's researching, and he's there's never been a game with money in the title. That's what he's going to come back with.
Yeah, it was no. The reason I say it's got money in the title is it's called Fair Games, and it's like games with a dollar sign at the end of it.
Right, okay.
I should also say Fragpunk was the game I was thinking of. Darren Gargett posted it in the chat. Thank you, Darren.
Remember that game? Right. Okay.
Yep.
Next bit of news, please.
Okay. Star Wars Outlaws, the creative director, is a bit disappointed with its review scores.
That makes two of us, mate.
Yeah. So Julian Girotti from Ubisoft Massive has spoken to Games Radar, and he said, "I'm a little disappointed with the Metacritic. Of course, recognition from press and critics is very important to us, but players are really connecting with what we did. There's a level of pride, happiness, and sense of accomplishment amongst the team, and there's still more to come from the game. This will be a game that millions of people are going to play for years and years, and we're never going to stop improving it." Then he said, "Well, that's a lie. We'll probably stop improving it, but today my mind is not on stopping improving it." It was a strange sentence.
Weird.
That's
quite-
exactly what he
Maybe
said.
say yeah.
A bit then.
Yeah. No, it's exactly what he said.
I'm sure he is. They are disappointed. I'm sure that there is some disappointment with the review scores, but they cannot be surprised by them. I mean, I really like Outlaws, and I've been playing it a lot again this week. And I still really like it. And even I wouldn't give it over a 7 because of how broken it is.
When from talking with you about this game, David, I'll tell you what it really reminds me of. It for you, this game feels like how Days Gone felt for me, which is that it's a 6 or 7 out of 10 game. It's not amazing or whatever, but still really enjoying it. It's still really digging it, and it's still like fun open worlds, to get around in and everything. But it's not like the best thing ever. But it's still good. It's also fun.
It does remind me of it reminds me of Jedi Fallen Order to an extent, where you're like, oh god, there's some real fucking shit in here that needs polishing, but ultimately there's a core there that really works. And I think that was my biggest problem with Survivor, because Fallen Order was that this is a really good game, but it needs a hell of a lot of polish, and it was released too early. And then what was it? Survivor come out, and I was like, no, it's done it again. You can't keep. But I don't know. Hopefully they work on it enough to make it look better. It's got to look a lot better. The animations need a hell of a lot of work, and there's all these little weird bugs here and there that really need tidying up.
It's so weird though, isn't it, in terms of visually, because there are some bits like that bit I was talking to you about the other day, where you where you go to that old Republican cruiser that's crashed, and then you walk out, and the first time you see it,
time you see it, it's like, holy shit,
incredible! It looks absolutely incredible, and then other bits just look terrible. It's really strange.
Yeah, the majority of it looks absolute dog shit, and again, I think that is because they hadn't had enough time to smooth that stuff over and get it working. The character models look dreadful in places, like real poor stuff.
Yeah.
Yet at the same time, they still manage to capture that sort of hustle and bustle of a small town in a galaxy far, far away. It manages to make it feel like it's no spoiler to say that Tatooine is in. And we're going to talk about this later, but when you're walking around Mos Eisley, it's like, holy fucking shit, it's like I'm walking through while they're filming it. Do you know what I mean? Like, they nail that stuff. So it feels like this is coming from someone that has fuck all knowledge about developing a video game. It feels like they did the hard work and fouled on the more standard stuff. Do you know what I mean? But it gives you that feeling that it was just released, it was pushed out too early, because all of the stuff that you talk about seems to be the stuff that they leave to the end, right? And based on some of the documentaries that I've seen, a game really doesn't come together visually till right near the end of its development, and it feels like this was not at the end of its development, and that's what sucks the most about it. So yeah, I can see the people that worked on this game being disappointed with the review scores, but no way are they surprised. They can't be, because you know the memes and the videos of weird shit happening in that game was happening instantly. It was straight away when that game came out. People were going, "What the fuck is going on here?" Yeah.
I mean, also, Ubisoft share price has now dropped to like its lowest level since 2015. But they said it's not just Outlaws, although that's a factor. It's
all
also
the other shit games.
No, it's also X-Defiant, which is apparently not doing very well either. So yeah, things are not so great.
Yeah, it's not one of those games that tried it and didn't really go anywhere. There's been a ton of those, isn't there? Rogue Company and others. You know, there's been a bunch of games that I've been told. There's that one with the portals. And like, I'm sure they have an audience, and whenever we talk about these games, we always get someone saying, "Well, they had this many concurrent the other day," and I'm like, "Fine, but do you really think that they were probably shooting it for higher than that?" And
I feel like we should
it seems like
ban reporting on like player numbers and stuff. Getting really sick of it.
From us, why?
No, just in general.
Just in general. I hate feeling like weirdly responsible. Like, fucking, what was the
powerful.
one? Exoprimal last year that I fucking loved. And like, and it was one of my Game of the Year picks. Like, absolutely adored it. And it was one of the few games that got me and my friends regularly playing online together for a bit, right? And like, we got everything we wanted out of it and we loved it. And then it just kind of ran its course and that was it. It was fine. And then all the articles are like, "Oh, look at how many concurrents it's got." And it's
that stuff is shit. Yeah.
What do you want, man? Like, I mean, obviously, you know, it kind of set itself up as a service game, but even every service game isn't going to last forever. Do you know what I mean?
It was like what they've said. The reports about Helldivers 2.
Yeah, same thing.
There is no doubt that Helldivers 2 was a massive success.
Yeah. It's still the biggest game of the year, isn't it?
Yeah,
and you'll still get the articles like, "Oh, it's down to like a quarter of its initial player base." Like, yeah.
That what happened?
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? It is mad.
Yeah. Sorry, anyway.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Next story is that the songwriter from Heaven 17, who did Temptation in 1983, has told Rockstar to go fuck themselves. And the reason for this is because they were offered royalties to include the song in Grand Theft Auto 6. And I mean, I'll read the quote, what he said. He said, "I was recently contacted by my publishers on behalf of Rockstar Games regarding the possibility of using Temptation on the new Grand Theft Auto 6.
Is that the song? Temptation.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah.
Temptation. That's a banger. That.
It is a banger.
Well, fair play for Evans.
How much did you pay for it, Dave? Put it in your game.
69p on iTunes. That's how it works, isn't it?
It's free on Spotify, mate.
Right.
Wasting your money.
Could have saved that.
Sorry, James, go on.
So he said, naturally, excited about the immense wealth that was about to head my way, I scrolled down to the bottom of the email regarding the offer. It was $7,500 for a buyout of any future royalties from the game forever. To put this in context, Grand Theft Auto 6, he means 5, grossed, wait for it, $8.6 billion. But think of the exposure. Go fuck yourself. That's what he said. And
fair fucking play, man.
Yeah.
If you value your music higher than that, then fair fucking play if you're turning them down. Right?
Then he was asked what he would consider to be a reasonable offer, and he suggested $75,000 for as a buyout, and that's what he thought would be okay.
Didn't get a reply to that, I assume.
No, they said no.
Look, don't get me wrong. I can't see Rockstar spending $75,000 on every song they put into their game. Like, I can't see that happening. But also, you've got every right to say no. I don't want. If you want this is what I think my music's worth. If you want
definitely.
Game, there you go.
Yeah,
Boom,
and like the argument, you know, because I think people assume, you know, because he's had a load of shit from people over this, like people saying like, "Oh, you think you're too fucking good to be in," or whatever. and there's but think of the exposure. It's like, no, that doesn't mean anything anymore because you're not going to sell anything based off that exposure. Like, yes, your song could have a moment with people who were too young or not even born when it first came out and weren't aware of it, etc. Like, fucking Kate Bush in Stranger Things. Kate Bush didn't make anything off that because it just the streams go up on Spotify, but they pay so little.
You make
really
like about 60 quid or whatever. It's like great.
Like that doesn't mean anything. So you've got to be paid a good amount to license the song in the first place, or else that's all you're going to get out of it.
Yep. And some people will look at that $7,500 and go, buy my music, and let them do that. Like,
I'd sell this podcast for that much.
On the what? How do you mean?
The whole thing.
To put one of our pods on, to put one of our pods on GTA, yes,
and one on the radios,
would do it. Yeah,
because the exposure would be good for someone like us, but
it would. It would actually.
Well, no, I think we probably should get loads of abuse from idiots.
I mean, I do.
Great.
We already do.
200 quid.
Yeah, for free.
200 quid if you're listening, Rockstar. That'd be fine.
Well, no. Hold on.
That's not.
Have you not? Grand Theft Auto 6 grossed, wait for it, $8.6 billion. So, and
imagine if they came to us and were like, right, we want you to
do
do like a radio thing for GTA, but we only want Dave and the James fella.
What happens if they go, no, we really want to use your show on one of our radio stations, and we look and we say, oh, no, it doesn't say Rockstar, that says Dash Radio on it. And then he says, P.S. please don't use our car park. We're not going to use your car park, Dash Radio.
Also, it has to be less than 2 hours. Otherwise,
it's impossible to get on the radio.
Oh God! Imagine if you've only just started listening to this pod. What are they fucking talking about? It's a long story. We weren't allowed to use the car park, and they kept asking us to.
But
make
Snoop
it 2
Dogg
hours
could.
long. Yeah, Snoop Dogg was loving
They were
that
very
car park.
insistent about that. There was multiple.
Don't park in that LA car park. I wasn't gonna, mate.
Okay, sorry. Just to explain, just to catch you up, we were on an American radio station that was focused on. We were on the radio station. We were on the radio, so that is legitimate. We were on a radio station called Dash Radio or Dash FM or something.
Dash Radio, I think.
Yeah, and it was owned by Snoop Dogg, apparently, although he never spoke to us. He never sent us an email, and they kept asking us to make all our shows 2 hours long, and we didn't. And they fired us. And they at one point they said, right, we said, how many people have been listening on Dash Radio to our show? 250,000. I was like, no, they haven't. That
chance.
is a lie.
We've not
Because
heard from a single one of them.
I think the next week we said, if you're listening on Dash Radio, can you email us?
Yeah, get in touch.
We didn't get a single email.
Nothing.
I've just found the Dash Radio trailer they did for the episode for our show.
Oh no!
But it's 1 minute and 13.
I remember that being really bad.
Shall I play it?
No, play it. I
Wasn't
remember
there
it being
also
really bad.
like a whole thing with a contract as well that they sent us once, where we were like,
maybe
not signing that.
Okay, ready?
Oh God, I remember this being really bad.
This is gonna. If anyone's driving, listen to this. You might have to pull over because you're about to cringe yourself into a
This is
coma.
gonna make me feel ill. This is.
It's 1 minute and 13, so we might not play the whole thing.
No, we're playing the whole thing. We got to do it.
Matt Mosley, creator of Hey everybody, this is Matt Mosley, creator of Multiplayer on Dash Radio, and I am here to tell all of you listeners that we have a brand new show coming to the lineup. That's right, for all of you computer gamers, this one is for you. The Computer Game Show is a group of 4 guys discussing some of their favorite topics centered around the computer gaming community. Alright, listen, this is between you and me, but I've always favored computer games a bit more than console. Alright? You didn't hear that from me. You better listen to this show, alright? Good. Now, if you want to listen to the Computer Game Show but don't know when it airs, don't worry, I got you covered. All times are in Pacific Standard. Mondays at 6 p.m., Wednesdays at 9 p.m., Thursdays at 8 a.m., Fridays at 10 p.m., and Sundays at 12 p.m. Make sure to catch the Computer Game Show on Multiplayer, premiering this Thursday at 8 a.m., only on Dash Radio.
But also, they had us on a lot, but it was the same episode.
I was going to say, you might hear that and think, oh wow, that'd be like a different show every time.
I told you to listen to the Computer Game Show. Come on, guys, stop freeloading. Go listen to some more music.
Yeah, then he goes into other stuff.
Wow.
Horrendous.
Where have you got that from?
I just had it in my Dropbox. If I ever feel a bit low.
Just do it from time to time. Just...
Oh, God, that was horrible. All right. Go on.
I'll be using that at the next live show anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the GTA 6 story.
Yeah. Tick.
Okay, next one is that the Switch 2 is apparently going to have backwards compatibility. And this is according to Nate the Hate, who said on Reddit that it does indeed have backwards compatibility. And,
Sweet. Open a shot case.
Yeah, but then also
This is
on
not,
Wednesday
this
last
is not
week-
your
said it,
fantasy
eh?
zone.
No, this is not the Fantasy Zone. So yeah.
Okay.
But then also on Wednesday last week, David Gibson, who is a senior research analyst at MST Financial, said that he thinks the console is coming sooner than people are expecting. And this is what he said. He said, no one seems to have noticed the Nintendo assembler, Hosiden, is spending $2 billion on production equipment and $1 billion on automation in financial year 325 for its major customer in amusement, Nintendo. I still
Right, that
expect...
what? What?
like
the
you
fuck?
said-
What that again?
Okay, I could. It doesn't make any sense. I'm just going to read
It sounded
exactly
like you
what
were
it
breaking
says.
up there.
Spent
like
like
you
2
going
billion
under
yen
a
on production
tunnel.
equipment and 1 billion yen on automation in financial.
Eh?
It says financial year 3/25.
Yeah.
Which okay, fair enough. For its major customer in amusement brackets Nintendo.
And he said, I still expect September news and March 2025 release for the next device.
So again, that's what we've always thought anyway.
No, because it was supposed to be after.
It was supposed to
Well,
be pushed
yeah,
to
no,
the
but
next
we thought it was
financial
originally,
year,
then
yeah.
they said actually not to April, but all bets are off.
Oh, we'll see.
And
Who
all on.
knows? Fucking everyone's talking. Everyone's talking. Let's wait for the
We're
masters
talking.
At me.
to speak.
I can't hear what they're
I
saying.
know. I shut up, all of you. I want Nintendo to tell us when it's coming out. I don't want Nate the Hate or David Gibson telling me. All right,
No,
I want
Nate the
Shigeru
Hate's all
Miyamoto.
about. Nate the Hate's all about backwards compatibility. Yeah,
I mean, if it didn't have that, that would be shocking.
I know, but like I don't know.
Nintendo,
we go,
though.
oh, it's
Well,
Nintendo,
yeah, and also not
it's
shocking.
It's Nintendo, but you're right. Like, and Nintendo have done backwards compatibility before. Like
Yeah,
they
loads of
have.
times.
For a tenner a month.
I do. Yeah, I do think we are at a point now where it's fully expected that Switch games should run on this new hardware. Like it's happened at Sony for years now. It's happened at Microsoft for years. If it didn't let you play your Switch games on this new console, then I don't know. You know. And I think to the point where you've got to be able to be putting your cards in it as well.
Well, I was
Like,
about to
genuinely
say,
think
do you mean
that's-
just digital, just cards? So
No, it'll be
No, I
cards
think
as
it
well.
needs to. Yeah, it'll be.
will
it
the
has to be
cartridges
cards.
taste the same?
Do
Probably.
they still put the coating on?
Yeah, they do. I tried
How do you
one
know?
the other day.
James has been licking away.
Yeah, I had
recently.
4 this morning.
No, I tried one the other day. I was curious.
What?
Yeah.
What have you tried? Why?
Just have a little lick, innit?
No, you don't have a little lick.
What game?
It's Mario Party. The more
Oh, well,
recent
the
one.
new one.
Yeah, not the Jamboree one, but the more recent one.
Oh, right, okay. Okay. Cool. So,
Just to clarify,
the
I'm
new Nintendo.
pretty sure. So when you say, FY 3/25, I assume that means the third quarter of financial year ending 2025. I
Yeah.
don't know though. I'm an idiot.
This is why I got tripped up as well, Sean, because
It
it's
is
a bit of a
weird.
weird way to write it, and it's like
But I've googled it. It's definitely like a term. It's definitely a correct way of doing it.
But when,
just
but
don't know
the
what it
funny thing
means.
is, when Sean got tripped up, he went, "Oh yeah, I don't know." And when you tripped up, you went,
I know because I was whatever. Okay.
Matt nearly spat his beer out. Then I nearly got him. I nearly got
Very
him. there.
close, very close. With the sounds that James making.
Okay.
Anyway,
Next
last news story is that Astro Bot is 2024's highest rated standalone game so far, according to Metacritic. So it's currently got 94, and it's not as high as Shadow of the Erd Tree, but that's because that's DLC, so it doesn't count. And the next game below that is
Someone's
Final
teeing up
Fantasy
the
VII.
Gotti argument already.
So yeah, 94. Although, did you see that tweet from that guy that had spent all that
Yes.
time trying to prove that it was actually lower than 94?
Really?
And
Using
yeah,
maths.
it was. Yeah, he spent ages trying to prove with maths that it was actually 91. And then a lot of people replying just said, "You could have just been playing the game, mate."
Yeah. Get a life.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, we'll talk about Astro Bot in a bit. That's the end of the news.
It pretty much is. I mean, although I've got a fantasy zone.
That's what I
Let's
wanna
go!
hear, boy.
Shall I fire up the
Should we go now?
Yeah.
engines?
Yes, please.
Let's go now.
Something
Yeah.
that I
That's
thought you would have
what was
picked
going
up
on.
on that.
All right,
cue.
now
Fucking
Let's
desperate,
go.
mate.
I had a week off, didn't I? I'm rusty.
Yeah, he's,
right, okay, I'm doing it now.
he's
Bye.
Oh no.
Oh my God, we're here in the fantasy zone. Look over there.
Oh Jesus! What is that?
Look over there. Star Wars Outlaws got a 87 on Metacritic.
It's my favourite place to
What a
be.
world. James Farley, we're in the fantasy zone. I can smell your shit.
Musk.
I can smell your shit. I
Can smell your musk.
I
smell
mean,
your
this is
bullshit
going to
there.
be a bit shit. I mean,
Yeah,
it involves Nintendo as well,
Go on.
and so some. Okay,
Insiders have suggested.
Sum 41.
there are
This
some
is going to add
Spanish.
several seconds to the edit, James. When it's better be worth it.
Be mindful.
There's some Spanish streamers.
Okay. It's a great start.
Where
Spaniards.
is this going?
It's a great start.
Did you tense up then, Sean? I was like, oh, he's getting us cancelled. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't. Sam Spanish.
The fucking Spanish, you on it again?
The fucking Spanish, right?
They say, ain't gonna be fucking controllers, is it? Good lord, no fucking screen, mate. Classic Spanish. Sorry, James.
The hell was that?
It was you.
It was you,
It
mate.
was you.
You in the
mate.
fancy
Did all
zone.
that. I saw
Anyway,
him.
some Spanish streamers.
Don't
and
say it like that.
journalists-
Not fucking British one. I'll tell you that.
Got British streamers.
It was a foreign call centre. God,
Okay,
just-
some
Those
journalists.
fucking Europeans.
Some journalists
suggested-
and streamers
Yes.
from Spain
Okay.
are being sent overseas to Nintendo America for an event which is happening this week. And so the
But just
speculation
Spanish ones.
the Spanish.
that's all that is all I've got. That's the only information I've got.
Shigeru Miyamoto going, bring the Spanish. What should we not get?
Spanish get
Should
first
we-
dibs every time.
French? No. German? No.
That is the only information I've got is that some journalists from Spain are being sent overseas.
Shigeru
To
Miyamoto
look at
walking into a
something.
room of journalists and going, your passport. You got your birth certificate.
See, the
What are you from,
speculation
fucking Costa de Rada.
the speculation was that maybe it was to look at Super Mario Party, but the previews for that are out tomorrow, so it can't be that. So the
Oh,
speculation is it's going to be the next Switch, and there's going to be an event this week.
Do you reckon that on that flight from Barcelona, do you reckon the Spanish are on there going, I just don't understand why us?
Yeah,
Of all-
what did we?
Why have we been summoned? Okay, well there you
so
go.
they're going to reveal the Switch 2 this week
You think that's what they're going to see?
All
They're
the
going to see that.
Spanish websites.
to some journalists
Yeah.
and streamers from Spain.
Okay.
We ain't gonna fucking understand a word of it. Okay, well that's one of my favourite fantasy zones you've done forever. That was a good one. Thank you.
What's just occurred to me is that we enter the fantasy zone and we never leave it.
No, we don't have.
So
need
have
an-
we
need an
always been in
outro
it?
Theme.
Have we? We were not in it, and then we did the first episode where we entered it, and
we
we've
get
never
we
left
get
it
it, mate.
since.
You think
It's
of
the-
things differently. You
It's
think
No,
of
but-
things in a different way.
Come outside the
where he
box,
doesn't
mate,
get
kind
to
of,
see
you know,
the
think of it-
spinning top.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're kind of like lost,
Yeah,
but
but better.
yeah.
With a more satisfying
I like-
conclusion.
Sideways look of the podcast.
Fucking
from Matt
Spanish in
Mulder.
it. Some fucking
you-
Spanish to me, boy.
Okay, what you've been playing, and my favourite thing about what you've been playing this week is that we are all very, very excited about Astro Bot, except for Sean, who's not played it and has played Space Marine. And what's funny about that is that before we started recording, Sean went, "We got two major releases this week, two major ones. They're so equal, if anything.
Yeah.
We're really
Yeah,
excited about
exactly.
talking
Just
about
excited.
both of them."
Really equal. The same.
Can we talk about Astro Bot? Because oh
Yes,
my word.
please.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to hear about it. To be clear, like obviously I would rather be playing it, but I am
Yeah.
really fucking excited for the.
Is this the game that's made you the most tempted to get one, Sean, or a
It's close
PS5?
as I've
that
been
is?
so far, yeah, but it's still just this one.
So
really,
far,
isn't it?
it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen.
Okay, look, so there was a bit of advice floating around the internet before the game launched from people such as Tom Orry and Matthew Castle saying, look, avoid everything you can. Don't read about it. If you're buying it, just play it. Don't watch any videos. And I fully agree with that. However, we are going to talk in general terms about Astro Bot, and then towards the end, we might have some slightly spoilery bits. We don't want to spoil anything, but I would kind of like to talk about the structure of the game because I think it's genius, and I would have considered that a spoiler before playing. Hopefully, people that are playing Astro Bot are already playing it, so it won't be a spoiler for them. But I'll flag up when we're going to go into something that I would consider a spoiler, so that you can fast forward a little bit. Right. Astro Bot. What is Astro Bot? It is a game that we have, or at least a franchise character series, whatever you want to call it, that we have been championing on TCGS for a long time. You know, we all the way back from the PSVR.
That's 2018. That was
disc. 2018. We were like, shit, I want to play a full game of this. Then they brought out. Now, what came first? It was Rescue Mission, right?
It was Rescue
VR,
Mission.
yeah.
The full VR game, which was a platformer where you play as sort of like this big giant robot that sits behind Astro Bot, and you're controlling Astro Bot, but you're also looking around while you're in these levels. It was phenomenal. It was our game of the year that year. Probably wrongly our game of the year that year, but it was very good.
Very, very good though.
Just not as good as
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption 2. That is, it's one of the worst decisions we've ever made.
No
as a
way. If
podcast.
anything, I think this redeems it more personally.
No, it doesn't redeem it more because it's a different game, Matthew. So no.
Yeah,
it
but the
doesn't redeem
character,
it
the
more.
sensibility, the creativity
Yeah.
is all there.
All lovely. Yeah.
Oh,
Red Dead
get it
Redemption
wrong.
2. One of the greatest games of all time. We've really fucked that.
Yeah,
really
and I would say Rescue Mission is one of the greatest platformers of all time.
See, if I'd have played Red Dead Redemption 2 before the show, then I would have voted differently, like for that.
Exactly.
Because I mean,
Exactly.
Rescue
It's
Mission
nice
is
to want
fantastic.
things, James.
I mean, Rescue Mission
Mission
is
is
still
fantastic.
amazing, but
Yeah.
you know,
Anyway, I would say that Astro's Playroom, as short as it was, made an even better case that this game should be a standalone. They should, as much as we like the look of Sackboy, no one ever took to it because of the games. This should be Sony's thing. Astro Bot should be Sony's thing. We've been saying it for years and years on this pod. They finally announced the game this year. They released it, and fuck me, do you feel as justified as I do? I mean, right. Firstly, how far into it are we? I'd say I've played 7 hours. I think I'm at the end of World 5, and I have collected I think it's 200 exactly Astro Bots out of 315. I think.
It's just 300.
no, it's 304. But
There's more.
304.
Actually,
304.
not-
Yeah.
yeah.
Where are you up to, Matt?
So I'm like midway through the third set, the third planet, or third set of island, third set of levels. Yeah.
Yeah. Third.
yeah.
Well, I know
Third
they're not
world.
worlds, but
Yeah,
we
yeah.
call them world. Yeah, third universe or whatever. Now I know the answer to this, but we'll probably talk about this before we go into the game. James, where are you in this?
So I've got the platinum trophy, and I've completely finished absolutely everything that the game has to offer.
What? How? How?
So yeah, I mean, I started playing the game on Friday evening, and I played into the morning.
In what time morning?
I don't know, 1 or 2 or something like that. And then I played
What
it
time morning?
all day on Saturday, and then most of Sunday, and yeah, that was everything. Yeah.
Can I just say, you clearly ashamed of yourself because
Yeah.
I'll tell you what happened. He texted me on Saturday night and said, "I've got all of the Astro Bots," and I went, "Jesus Christ, James, what on earth have you been doing?" And he said, "I said, how long have you played it for?" This is from Friday evening through to Saturday evening. He'd played it for 13 hours, right?
How the fuck?
next-
What happened on the weekend?
There was nothing else to
We'll get
do.
to that. No, we'll get to that.
You have
We'll get to
kids,
that.
yeah?
Anna,
We'll
you have
get
a
to
family.
it. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. We'll get to that, Sean. Trust me, we're going to get to that. But how I know that he's really ashamed about this is because I asked him. He texted me on Sunday evening and said, "Oh my God, I've got the platinum now," and I replied and said, "Jesus, mate, how long have you been playing it?" And he went, 13 hours, and I went, James, you're lying to me now because you told me 13 hours yesterday when you collected all the Astro Bots. So now you're lying to me. So are you gonna confess about how bad it was?
No, because what it was that I checked, like like on the PlayStation, it tells you how long you've been playing for, right?
Yeah.
And so it still said 13 hours. But then later on, when I switched it off, and then I switched it back on again later in the afternoon, it then updated to like 15 or 16.
No, you
No,
told me
come on.
16, and
come on,
also
James.
there's no way you only put 3 hours into it on Sunday. Absolutely no way.
No,
Yeah,
it
you
was
just said
Sunday,
most of
Sunday was
Sunday.
only about 3 hours, I think.
You know,
You just said most of Sunday, didn't you?
I've got video proof of this. Like I've got time-stamped pictures.
Matt, you know, earlier in the pod he went, "Yeah, it's funny. Asher's not really into it. He hasn't had a fucking chance, Jack."
That's not true. He did have a bit of a chance to like play it, but the thing is
Between the hours of 2 a.m. and 6 a.m.
Daddy
Should
needs
point out,
sleeping for 4 hours, and then he will
James
return.
did also do a post on Threads. Well, that's a whole weekend of pretty much just playing video games.
Back to work on Monday. Dad, can we go to the park? No, I'm playing. I'm playing.
Yeah, I've got to get the platinum and get me a coffee.
The thing was, right, is Saturday the kids were doing stuff like with their friends and stuff, so they weren't home like for like on Saturday, and then
How would you know? How would you know?
They may have been home.
They were not home.
I heard the door open and close a few times.
At that point. Yeah.
But it was really weird because I said to Chen, I was like, "Do you mind me playing this?" And she was like, "No, because you look like you're having a really good time," and she was really pleased. It's
Bollocks.
true.
I know Chen really
Proper
well.
goblin
There's no
mode
way
over
she's
there.
saying that.
It's true. She thought it was
no way she's saying, "Yeah, just do nothing for the weekend."
seriously.
That's fine.
I didn't want to go out anyway.
She was fine about it. It's rare that I do this, but this game just completely
Okay, taking all of that stuff apart, right? Ignoring all that stuff, how can you, at your age, play a game for 13 hours, like within a 24-hour period? Don't you just I will play a game for like 2 to 3 hours and come away thinking, "Fucking hell, I need a rest and go and do something else."
Yeah.
Not you. You can
No,
just sit
but
there.
you see, that's the thing. Normally, I'm the same. But there was something about this. I could not pull myself away from playing it because it was just that loop of just like, I can play a bit more of this now, and I'm really enjoying it. Like I'm enjoying it so much.
A little bit more of this. Now.
No, seriously,
A little morsel, a bit more for Daddy. That's what I imagine.
I was enjoying it so much that I just couldn't stop.
It's very Moorish.
I could play a little bit more of this computer game.
Hour of Astro Bot, please.
Well, I'm being a good boy today. Another hour
Oh, come on,
of the
sir.
game.
Just one more wafer thin Astro Bot.
Just
Very
another
good
world,
boy.
just another couple levels,
Another couple.
I mean, is there not part of you guys? Shit, man. I'm saying
Touching
this because
grass,
I
mate.
am jealous. I am jealous. I had to go to the dump. I had to take the boys to football
I
practice
do all
and
that
football
shit
tournament.
most weekends. It's just that this time
Don't
there was an opportunity.
believe that for a second. Does anyone believe that here? That he does
Of
that
course I
shit
do all
most
that
weekends?
stuff. Of course I do. It's not
Go
just
on.
fucking hell. This is outrageous. It's just like I had one good weekend where I played a game.
Oh, this is a good
that
weekend,
I
is it?
really,
Yeah,
really,
supposed
This
to
is a good
play
one.
with my family.
Yeah.
No, I
That's a bad
played,
weekend.
I played a video game that I really, really fucking enjoyed, right? And I had a great weekend. What's wrong with that? Just this time.
One more hour can't hurt.
I surely will not regret it.
Okay.
Yum yum. Another hour of Astro Bot for me.
Was Jake coming in with like plates of food?
No.
Just
piss
leave it
bottle.
on the
Don't look at me, Chen.
side.
Just one more hour. What time is it? 2 a.m.
I just couldn't drag myself away. It was
Daddy
too good.
hungry for more Astro. Okay.
Okay, right, that's enough. Look, I understand why this game is fucking incredible. Everything about. Look, my first impressions weren't great, if I'm totally honest. I played the first world, and I was really bummed out by how much of the stuff had been reused. So, a lot of enemies are reused. A lot of ideas have been reused in that first world. most of the music had been reused in that first world, and I'm like, look, I'm enjoying this, but I'm worried now that these high scores have come from people that haven't played as much Astro Bot as us. Do you know what I mean? Like that haven't played through Rescue Mission, that doesn't know the tricks that it's doing. And I was like, and especially with that level with the monkey where you're climbing up stuff, and I'm like, this is in Playroom. What is going on here? And I was like, it's fine, it's good. I'm not annoyed by it, but I was kind of like, please don't be the whole game where it's just reusing stuff.
Well, I was kind of worried about that anyway. I think we might have said it before. I was like, I mean, I was still was excited about it because I'm like, is this just really a best of for people who haven't played the previous versions, and for us who have played it, it's like, well, it's great still, but it's not quite a fully new game.
It really takes off on that second world, and it is safe to say that it is way more Rescue Mission than it is Playroom, right? So Playroom is very focused, is very dense, and I really like that. And I think that has its advantages, but it was a shorter game. It wasn't fully like they were able to make things a lot more dense than they do in this game. This is a lot more like Rescue Mission, where you're the idea is that you start. It's an A to B level. And there are collectibles to take along the way. There's usually 3 puzzle pieces and say 7. It varies, but 7, 8 Astro Bots to find along the way. Some of them are just normal little robots. Some of them are themed around PlayStation characters, and you collect them as you go. It does have the same sort of frustrations with that system, so that I had with Astro Bot VR Rescue Mission, in that there are times where you can progress forward, like you'll be on a stage and you won't know whether to go left or right. And left could be a little short challenge to get an Astro Bot, and right can be to progress. And you go right, and you go, oh no, this is the rest of the level. I want to go back, but you can't go back.
I've had that a couple of times.
Like, oh fuck! So I've got to restart the whole level to get back there to do. So it does have that stuff that Rescue Mission had. That's probably the only negative that I can say about the game, though. It's the only thing that frustrates me a little bit while I'm playing, is that, you know, it feels very linear and enclosed, and suddenly things get blocked off. But everything else is nigh on perfect. Like, it's incredibly good, this game, and it's everything I wanted from an Astro Bot game. It does things that I didn't want it to do. I didn't want it to lean into the PlayStation stuff again, because I thought it really sort of it had done as much as I'd wanted it to do in Playroom. I didn't want another game where I'm running around collecting PlayStation bits and pieces, and you're not really doing that in this.
No,
but what it does do is still lean heavily on PlayStation franchises and characters and stuff, and nostalgia, and it fucking nails it.
Oh, it's so good.
The way it does it is so perfect.
And it completely works, I mean, like, with that. But then also, even if it didn't have any of that, it would still be an amazing game. Like, it would still be incredible. It's like,
for sure.
It feels that just feels like a nice, like, little addition to it. Especially, I mean, you know, things that are themed and stuff like that are so good.
Yeah,
like,
the theme levels are really. Have they done 2? I think.
Right,
2?
we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
later,
I won't
I
go into
I don't want to go into that. Yeah,
I think I've done 2, but they've been great so far. But I mean, but it was always going to be like really heavily PlayStation centric and all about nostalgia. And we definitely talked about this when we talked about Rescue Mission and maybe Playroom. Is that, you know, I had a PS2, didn't have a PS1, played it a fair bit, but I never really had that massive PlayStation nostalgia because I was a Sega kid. But it's like all these games have made me feel nostalgic for like a history I kind of didn't really have like with PS1. But it's like, oh yeah, that character and this and that, and it makes you feel like you grew up with every single PlayStation and they were your favorite console because of how well it's done and how warm and affectionate they are to the various franchises, and not just PlayStation owned franchises. It's like PlayStation related franchises. It's just it's absolutely gorgeous.
And it's also, but then it also, I mean, other people have made this point as well, but it's like, it's a bit annoying because you come across all of these games and like this, like, for example, like Ape Escape, like you see, you know, all these games where you don't see stuff like this anymore, really, from Sony. Like, they don't really like produce like these sorts of games so much anymore, and it's a massive shame because you see like the real like breadth of sort of styles of games and everything that they were putting out in like the early 2000s into the mid 2000s, and how that's all kind of evaporated now. And it's nice. I mean, the only other thing that I would say that I was I'm not disappointed with it because I think as a package it works like completely. I think it's perfect, but I feel that Playroom there was more in that in terms of like different things to do with the controller and all that kind of thing because it was a tech demo. Yeah, they were trying to show you what it could do. With this, I was a little bit disappointed with the number of like sort of abilities and powers that you get. You know, what you do in the game.
There are ones that are a little bit similar, like
Yeah.
the dog and the chicken are pretty much the same thing, but just on two different ways.
Like, in Playroom, they had like the spring and stuff like that, which isn't in this. And I just thought it would have been nice to have a few more spins on some of these ideas, but it's really nitpicking because
Maybe,
the other
but
thing
it has the one in the casino level, James, which
Yeah.
I think the casino level is, I think, the first level in.
Yeah,
World
that's
3.
what I'm. Yeah, I think I've done it on. Yeah.
Mind blowing. Like that was when I turned around and said, "Holy shit! Okay, this is up there. This is up there with some of the best platform games I've ever played. Like it's that casino level is so exciting, and it offers an idea that we've seen before in other games. And again, I'm talking around it because I don't want to spoil it, but it offers an idea that we've seen in other games before, but it makes everything it does so fun that you go, holy shit, you've really gone through this level in real detail, and you've condensed all these ideas into like this really short run, and you've nailed everything that you want the player to do. And not only have you nailed it, you've made it feel fun for the player to achieve as well. You know, it's that level was fucking incredible, and that's not the only incredible level in this game. It's just the one that really sticks out to go, holy shit, you've perfected this, because this it's too
there's
good.
a level in the
It's too
previous Galaxy that I thought was amazing. How can I talk around it? I
What
mean,
was the theme?
what scale?
Oh, the cheese level.
Yes.
Everyone's referring to it as a cheese
Okay,
level without giving it
I
away.
thought
Yeah,
that was
that's-
just like so
I wish there was another
clever,
level like that, to be honest.
so
yeah.
interesting. So like, you know, because it was fun to play. Either I don't know, it's just brilliant. I just thought it was
It's
really fun,
also
really exciting,
funny.
really inventive.
Like it's got
Yeah,
comedy in there with how you use that ability, and you go, oh man, it's so annoying to talk around it. And maybe later down the line we can start being a little bit more loose-lipped about things. But I just think in the launch week, this game is so much about surprises.
Definitely.
And as I said, we'll talk about the structure later, without spoiling any of the surprises. But there are so many surprises in this that to give that away on this podcast in launch week doesn't feel right. The other thing that blows my mind is that, and you know, I had a Jolly from Rollmuck. If you're listening, this isn't directed at you at all, because I thought you made a very good point in that thread. And when I reread what you actually said, you weren't really saying what I was talking about. But I have seen a lot of people saying this isn't Mario quality. You know, it's great. Look, it's not Mario quality, but it's good. It's not Nintendo quality, but it's good. I think you are absolutely wrong if you're saying that. I genuinely do. I think if you're the sort of person to go, this is brilliant. It's not Mario good, but it's brilliant. That says to me that nothing will ever be Mario good to you. Nothing will ever hit that bar for you ever.
Feels like a
Because
weird
this-
sort of defense mechanism sometimes, doesn't it?
I think more
But it's
it's the
also-
protection of something that people know as to be the highest bar
Yes.
in 3D
yeah,
platforming,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
But this is better than a lot of Mario games. It's better
Yeah.
than it's not, in my opinion. It's not as good as the best Mario games. You know, like a 3D World and Odyssey. I put higher than this. There's not many other Mario games that I would put higher than this. But at this point, like,
But there's also other aspects with that as well, which are frustrating because I mean, one of the things that people complain about a lot is they're just like saying, oh, you know, it hasn't got like Mario's move set or whatever. You know, he doesn't move like Mario, and it's like, well, of course it doesn't.
It's not Mario.
It's been designed differently, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why. And
Plus,
like
if it had Mario's moveset, everyone would go, "Oh, it's just Mario's moveset."
Yeah, it's just copy. Yeah.
and so the level
Well,
design would be completely different.
The moveset is one thing, but Mario is so, and it always has been from 2D games to 3D games. It's all about momentum, right? And the idea is that you're building up momentum, and the faster you're going, and the more flips you're doing, and the double jumps, and all that sort of stuff. It's all about momentum, and Odyssey nails that stuff. This game isn't about momentum because, for starters, you've got very different enemies that you don't have in Mario games. Mario games, the enemies are pretty much similar, and these you've got ones that you've got to jump on their heads, you've got ones that you've got to use your lasers with, you've got to avoid them hitting you, and then you've got to pull them, and there's different ways of taking these enemies out, and they offer different challenges, and some of them are a little bit annoying, but I guess that's part of they use them in the right ways to sort of force you to do something that you don't really want to do. For example, like the electric enemies that are in the previous games, where you cannot just go up and punch them like you can most of the other ones.
But then they force you to think differently in other stages, which is, I think, is also clever.
It's all about like deliberate movement. And it's you have to consider what you're doing, I think, before you do it.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm saying is that I'm not saying this lightly when I say this is up there with Mario games. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. Everything it does, it looks brilliant. The music is incredible.
So infectious.
It's fun to play. It's got incredible idea after incredible idea. There have been times where I've laughed and smiled. Charlie's been sitting next to me while we're playing it, and we've been pissing ourselves at the stuff that it asks you to do. We've been making sound effects, and we've been. It's just I love everything about it. I love the structure. I love the stuff that it asks you to collect. I love what it does with the stuff that you collect. Like, for example, there's a hub world, right, Sean? And what that does is that's you're sort of exploring this sort of deserty land, which has incredible music, by the way. Like, we're all whistling around the house all the time. But you're walking around this desert land, and whenever you save a rescue bot, they get sent to this desert land, right? And then when you go back to that desert land, you can do different things in the world. It's like Pikmin. It's like, well, if you want to get to this part of this desert land, you need 50 Astro Bots, and then you whistle and they all build up, and then you can climb up them and stuff like that. It's also got the areas where you got the puzzle pieces, and in the puzzle pieces were in Playroom, but what would happen is that you would collect these puzzle pieces, and then in your lab back in the hub world in that game, it would just create collages around and sort of decorate the rooms for you. On this one, I just thought it'd be the same thing. It's weird that they're on the floor in this desert world, but whatever. But it's not. Once you get enough puzzle pieces, all of a sudden, something to customize your Astro Bot pops up. Little shop where you can customize your Astro Bot. So I immediately ran in there and put on Parappa the Rapper's clothing, and now I'm running around as Parappa the Rapper robot. It's stuff like that where you go, oh, you're asking me to collect this shit, and you're giving me a reason to collect this shit as well. And it's something that Odyssey doesn't do too well, because with Odyssey, it's like, collect coins. What are you going to do with the coins? Buy outfits.
Yeah, it's just
whereas this, it goes, no, there's a reason for you collecting all this stuff. So it makes it more fun to go and do that shit.
Because also it has the gacha machine kind of thing as well, which is similar to Playroom, where you like get the coins, then you use them to use the gacha machine, which then like reveals like the robots the bots that you've discovered. It then creates like a little scene of
little diorama, isn't it?
Like a little diorama, which then goes into like the hub area, and it's pretty cool because you can go up to them, you like hit them, and then they like do things. It's like they do like their action from whatever game they're from and stuff like that, and it's. I mean,
I bought a couple of them just to see how the mechanic worked, but you obviously get all of them now, James. But it does get it's not a gacha and like you hope to get what you haven't got. You get a new one every time, right?
No, you get new ones every time. Apart from occasionally you get like a can or something that you just scrunches up and then chucks away.
Yeah, it's just like Astro Bot. I must admit, I did. It's just like Playroom. I mean, I must admit, I did prefer it in Playroom. So the way it worked in Playroom is that you would get little products that Sony had released.
Yeah.
So you open up the little Gatchin ball, and it's like a memory card or whatever, and then that goes into your sort of showroom, and you can go up to it and have a look at it and stuff like that.
See, I thought that until I came across Kiryu, and then I was
of course.
Yeah, I was more than okay with that. It's like it had like the whole like thing from Kamurocho. It's really cool. Yeah.
It's so good. Like it's so good. I cannot wait to finish it. I cannot wait to 100% it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that.
I'm constantly thinking about playing it. I love it.
Playroom, I mean, maybe Rescue Mission as well. Playroom is one of the only few platinums I've got. I think I might have got it maybe from Rescue Mission as well. But yeah, like so I'm definitely gonna do it for this.
See, and one of the really cool things about the platinum with these games as well is they're really doable. Like they're not. It's like some of them, yeah, they have some sort of like slightly cryptic message, but it's not really that cryptic. You can figure it out, you know, like what you need to do, what you need to do, and it's brilliant. Like it. I mean, the only thing I was also worried about with this game when I first started off is I was concerned that it was too easy because I really blew through like the first couple of worlds.
Yeah, what's the shit
like,
about triangle levels?
Yeah. Oh, we've
Well-
not done that one yet.
No.
Have you not done any of the?
So-
This might get into the structure conversation if we want to do that.
Because this is what's really cool. Because as I said, I thought it seemed a bit easy, but then you come across like in each of the worlds, they have like these like special like challenge missions basically, and they're all themed around like the cross,
Yeah, the
square,
face
circle,
buttons.
and triangle basically. And these are levels which are basically similar to like the void levels in like is it Mario Sunshine? It was Mario Sunshine. I
Yeah.
think it had the void levels where
yeah.
you're like stripped back to just Astro Bot, and then
Right.
you have to like get through like usually it's like you know I think each one has like 4 different challenge levels, and they're quite tough. Like those are
Yeah.
the ones that push me.
I was
Because
doing a
like-
triangle one last night, and it took me a while, but it's immensely fun and satisfying.
and it's one of those
So
things where
how do
once
you
you nail
activate
it,
them?
you just see them when you're in like the galaxy map.
I've
Um,
unlocked a couple of those, but there's not been a. I don't think I've seen.
Yeah, so
one of
basically,
those
like
ones yet.
a planet when pops up, and the first one is like the green triangle. You go in, and then that
Do a
thing,
short level.
do a totally short level, and that disintegrates into 4 smaller challenge levels, and then because basically I'd heard of these, I hadn't seen any, and then I went in each region, galaxy, whatever you call it. There's loads of planets, and when you get every puzzle piece, every astrobot, it has like a gold map. I got all them and I left, and it still said I hadn't got. There's like 4 I hadn't got, and I was like, well, this doesn't make sense. So I went back in, and then the green triangle thing appeared. So does it only appear, James, once you've 100% of the whole area, and then it appears, or
no, because what you do is if you like just fly your ship around like the thing,
Oh, yes.
eventually things appear, and then you like smash into them, and then yeah, that
right, it
occurs.
appears, yeah.
But like the challenge levels are, as I said, they are more challenging, and
Oh,
like some
definitely.
of them took me like I don't know, one of them probably took me like 20 attempts or something to like get through. But it's that level of challenge where it's like I know I can do this. I just need
Yeah.
to have like a good run.
And the
like,
levels are
through.
quite short, unless they change James.
Yeah.
Like the purple, I think the green triangle ones. They're pretty short, but they're
Yeah.
like, oh, that, and I'll put that bit together of that, and then I failed next time, and then obviously if you die right in the end, you got to start again. But yeah, absolutely brilliant.
It has that same thing as like with like Mario Odyssey, where there's like the final levels where they're basically in sections that you're doing, and you're like you basically have to sort of learn each one kind of perfectly, and then eventually you get all you get through all of them, and then it's it kind of works. It's really like that, where it's like okay, I'm nailing this section now, I've got to nail the next section
Yeah.
to get through, and it's
Sure.
it's absolutely perfect. Like the difference.
Sean, do you want to know the equivalent of grabbing the top of the flag in the Mario games that this game has? Because
Go
it's fucking hilarious. It's so fun. Honestly, it's one of our favourite parts of the game. Me and Hat Charlie, we wet ourselves. So you get to the end. There's a platform. It's straight out of Playroom. There's a platform. You land on the platform. It sort of sinks down with like a checker flag on it, and then all the Astro Bots that you've collected in your controller are all partying, and then the controller becomes like a spaceship, and the camera goes in, and the first time you see it, it's just a gold block, and you press the ignition on your pad, and the spaceship flies through it, and there's fireworks everywhere. Then it starts taking the piss out of you. So like there's one where like there's a huge robotic monkey holding up the gold thing and then sort of like whipping it away and sort of smiling. And so you'd be like, well, I'll fly into that, and he like moves it out of the way, and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. So you've got to time it right every time. It doesn't punish you for that. It's unlike the Mario games where it has an indication on whether you did it right on each level. It doesn't do that, but it's just funny how it tries different ways of toying with you. Like sometimes it'll fly up in the air, and you're like, right, I've got to get it just at the right time to hit it, and just as you're about to hit it, you realize that it's thrown just a different block into the air that time. And you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. It's like at the end of every level, it's as if the developers are going, right, how are we going to fuck with them
Yeah,
this
how are we
time?
gonna mess with it this time?
And it's just really, really funny. I love that stuff. Let's go into the structure briefly. because I know we've been talking about this game a lot.
Yeah, because I've got another like
already.
mini. Actually, before that, like one of the mini highlights that I thought like it's such a stupid little thing, but it was also mentioned on the Remap podcast. I'm like, I guess I'm not the only one to it make me feel a certain way. Is you're in like a underwater level near the beginning, and you see this like bubble, bubble you go into. Does that ring a bell for you?
Yeah.
It's like, and it's like I don't know if it's like the lighting or like the texture of this bubble you go on or go in. It just like it almost felt like I hadn't seen that kind of thing before. I clearly had, but and there's like another bit.
Because that is directly lifted from Mario Odyssey.
No. It's just like I think it's a texture and like almost like the like. Yeah, oh god, yeah, almost like rainbow-colored, like textured material. Anyway, for whatever reason, it felt really good. There's another bit where you're on these air bubbles later, and just like the way you can move around as Astro to like have like an indentation in the bubble. Just I don't know, something about it felt good.
The big one is the inflatable things.
Yes,
the inflatable objects that you jump on, and it all sort of it's like on a half-empty airbed that you're running along.
It's just something
really
how they've done it.
satisfying.
I think it's the texture of the colours. It's just something about it is amazing.
So sort of like tactile in this game. Like
does,
what's really like you said, like those balloons, like when you just like land on them and they just sort of like
they just
deflate slightly. And
something
it does
and
tons
that air
of
bubble
stuff
just
like that.
I don't know, something about it just felt amazing to be in or see.
What about when you go down the water slide and you push and there's just like tons of like balls?
Yeah. I mean, there's loads of them.
For them to be there.
This game always reminds me of like old console tech demos. I mean, like we had all the ducks, was it, for like PlayStation 1 or 2? There are so many bits where it's like, there's hundreds now of
1,000 apples on.
Yeah, there's apples, there's acorns, there's those like little like you win like
those
like, little pixel
chocolate,
blocks. It's amazing.
You know, like the hundreds of thousands. You know, like
and
it's like, and it makes the sound as well, and it sounds like them. Is what's really
and the snow level earlier on where you can like it's just you can't not clear all the snow away because it just feels so satisfying to do.
Cracking an egg on the boss fight.
That was
one of
that
what
was
you
brilliant.
do afterwards is so incredibly satisfying.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like you do that and you're like, this is kind of horrific what you're doing here, actually.
Yeah, I know,
it feels so satisfying.
Yeah. But then Charlie and I were just going every time we were doing it, like we're making that noise and pissing ourselves. Right. If you really are sensitive to spoilers, you've not played Astro Bot yet, then please fast forward. But if you're thinking about buying it and you're not 100% sure you're going to and need some convincing, then we're going to talk about the structure. We're not going to spoil certain aspects of it, but I think this might convince Sean to get a play PS5. Okay, right. So fast forward like 5 minutes if you don't want to hear that stuff. Right. And
the next game will just be me talking about. So if you skip forward and it's anyone else talking, we'll keep going.
Okay. So, the structure is genius because it plays on your expectations and it does something really fucking cool. So, here's what it does, Sean, and you will know within an hour of playing this game. Once you get to the end of World 1, you know the structure because it repeats it 5 times. And because it does it early on, it means every time you go into a world, you're like, I cannot wait to get to the end of this fucking world. So you fly off into your sort of galaxy or whatever it is, the area that you're entering levels, and you'll be given one level to go on. You do that level, the next sort of area of orbit, there'll be like 2, and you get to choose, and nothing too.
It's like Mario Galaxy kind of thing.
Yeah, Mario Galaxy. Every time something comes into the, sometimes something will be flying around in the screen and you can bash into it and that becomes a level. Sometimes it becomes an Astro Bot. Sometimes it becomes a level that you can go into. And you're building up towards a boss fight, right? There's a boss fight level, and on the front of that boss fight is you need 50 Astro Bots to unlock the boss fight. You do that. The boss fights so far have been fucking brilliant, like really imaginative. We were worried that they were going to be too similar to Rescue Mission, but actually they're not. The structure of them is completely different.
Yeah, but there are some of the same enemies. It's like, okay, it's it's a big monkey again, but hey, whatever. It's still... Yeah.
But the way you take them down is completely different, right? You get to the end of that, and when you enter that boss level, the one difference is that the only thing you can collect is one Astro Bot in that level, and you get that Astro Bot once you beat the boss, right? That Astro Bot is themed on a PlayStation game, so I'm not going to say which ones they use because I think that's a bit way too spoiling. but you will see an Astro Bot that is a character from another Sony game, and you think, cool, I've done my world, I'll go to the next world. But it isn't, because one more level appears after the boss level, and it is a level where you are essentially playing an Astro Bot version of that video game. So the level plays like not exactly like the game that
It's
is
like
parodied.
slightly simplified version
It's
of like
a very simplified version, a very Astro Bot version. Everything is slightly, off, but you get the feeling of the game that it's representing in that level. It changes, and there are ones that you won't believe, like the one at the end of World 4.
There's one I don't know any of them. But
Okay, good.
There is a game I've just thought of, and I'm just like, if they've done that, that's fucking brilliant.
I'm so tempted to ask if well, yeah, no, we could do that. Just say the game that you're thinking, we won't say anything.
Shadow of the Colossus.
Okay. So there are lots of these things, and every time I've played them, I've gone, this is just funny. Like, it's funny.
particularly like as you said, that one at the end of World 4 is that I had a massive smile on my face when that started up, and like all the sound and all that, and you're just like,
yeah.
I haven't got that far, but the second one was so good, so good.
Oh, you wait until the third and fourth, Matt, because they are incredible. The one at the end of 4, I was like, I wouldn't have even. If you'd have put 100 games in front of me to do an Astro Bot version of, I wouldn't have chosen this, but I would have looked at it and gone, "Fucking hell, that would have been good." And they actually did it, and mate, honestly, what a special game!
And it's
Real
also it's
effort that's been
shocking
put
how
into it.
like close and how good it like those levels are as well to the actual like what it's doing. And
They also have Astro Bot remix versions of the theme tunes of those games as you're running around and doing stuff. One in particular, I could fucking spoil it, but one in particular, I was like, this is genuinely genius. Like this remix, it sounds so good.
In that second one, I was like, I think I didn't know if I put the pad down exactly, but I was basically like, this is like almost like fuck off. This is too good. Yeah,
I remember the second one. John texted me after that second one.
The reveal for it was like, oh yeah, was it?
Yeah, John texted me and said, "Oh yeah, no, that game was better than the actual game we got." I was like, "It wasn't," but okay.
But even the reveal for that, I was like, "Oh shit!" And then the actual level itself is, it's just like non-stop fun and really impressive. Oh, they've done this from that. It's like, yeah.
But also the other thing that I really like about it is the way like some of the like they're not being just sort of like really reverential to like everything. Like there was one of the bots that I picked up Knack. And then it has like the tagline, and it just says "forgotten mascot," and then it just
you do see something like little jabs. I quite like them.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Astro Bot is everything we want it to be, and it's I'm glad so many people are finding love for that character now. I think Sony should not look back from this point.
No way, they've got something very special, and the team there, what it does. I'd
love to know what the Mario team think of this. I'd love to know what they think of this.
Well, like Grace and competition finally.
They probably won't fucking play it.
Well,
they famously not taint their
so they say.
Brains with other games. They're just like.
If I was working on the next Mario game, the thing that I'd take away from this is a few things actually. Drop lives; they're not needed. They've not been a thing in Mario for a while anyway, and they just piss kids off.
Yeah, it is good to know
they're
that.
running out of lives. You haven't got that in this. The other thing is that maybe incorporate some of the Nintendo stuff into your Mario game, because that's what they're doing with
that
Sony
would be incredible,
here, and it works so incredibly well.
Nintendo are doing that with the Mario Kart tracks, with Smash Brothers, so it makes sense that they would lean more into that anyway. But that would be so good.
I just have a feeling that they think it's something separate, which is fair enough.
It is good that there's another platform that is on that level, and they can push everyone, like rather than just it's Mario games, then basically nothing, because nothing can ever compare. This is like a genuine thing to get excited for when there is another Astro Bot. But it's just like what you said earlier, sorry James, like what you said earlier, Dave, like we had Rescue Mission, a little bit PlayStation centric, there's like the odd like bots to find a little reference, and then Playroom was obviously massively about PlayStation history, and now we've got this. Like, can they keep going, or could they go a different direction? I mean, I they've got so many games and so much history that I think they could do more. But it'd be interesting to see if there is like a 2 or 3 what they do. But for now, I'm still absolutely loving just seeing the references and the characters and.
I think they can, because I think it's one of those things which, I mean, similarly with Nintendo as well. Like, you can draw on this sort of like heritage and like all these like, you know, characters that have been invented over time, and it really, I think it does strengthen things like quite significantly, because you feel like you're sort of yeah, like you are playing a bit of history as well, which is pretty cool. I mean, I love that.
Yeah.
Also, one final thing that you'll love, Sean, is that the story of the fucking thing is that you're you're flying around in your PS5. That's the spaceship that the Astro Bots use, and an alien comes and nicks the processor, and then it crashes and
smashes it up to bits.
PlayStation goes everywhere, and the idea is that you're trying to collect the GPU, the SSD. Drive and you get an amazing thing where you try and piece it all back together with little actions on your controller.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. That was a bit that just felt very VR, almost like they had it maybe for rescue mission, and I didn't know what to do with it. Like there were bits where you are like kind of like clicking the controllers or shaking to move the RAM sticks in or whatever it is. It's like, you know, it didn't.
That was similar in Playroom as well. Like the
same
kind of thing.
But it just felt, I don't know. It felt a bit weird. I mean, I didn't mind it, and it was like, you know, it's tactful, and the pad felt nice. But it's like, yeah, this feels like it was probably meant for another game. Like, I'll just get that back in there because it's weird.
That's a fucking noisy fucker, though, isn't it?
I'll tell
when
you
play a game that really focuses on the haptic stuff, those triggers go.
I mean, I said to you, David, like, I just wonder, like, because it uses the DualSense so much, like all the different kind of stuff with it, and I'm just thinking, this must be destroying this pad, like playing this game, because it's battery, like vibrating and going all over the place. You're just thinking this must be, I don't know.
Yeah, the triggers sound really like grindy, don't they? When you're pulling them, like when you've got really them pressed down, and it's like really.
This is the first game I'm actually thinking maybe I should turn the volume down of the speaker because it's so loud. I mean, it doesn't offend me. I was like, it's not just like a little like, oh, you can hear something. It's like it's almost like it's a blaring speaker in the room, which but also adds something, I guess.
This also has like motion control stuff in it, which isn't entirely awful. Which is
but I did notice that the motion control stuff doesn't really work as well on the PlayStation Portal, does it?
No, it doesn't. I don't know if you noticed that. Yeah, I played a bit like that, and in the end, because I was playing it in bed because I'd gone to bed and I was still playing it. And then it got to the point where
at 4 in the morning.
There was part of it where you had to use the motion controls, and I ended up having to like sit up in bed and like hold it in like the right way, because otherwise it just was like, I wasn't getting anywhere with it.
Jen's a lucky lady.
Yeah,
elbowing in her. Oh, there was a puzzle piece. Sorry.
I'm sat up in bed holding it the right way, Jen.
What's really funny is that when I play on Portal, when I press start, when you press start, the controller comes up on the screen, and when you press start playing on the Portal, the pad's like in like a crazy direction. You're like, oh, for fuck's sake. Right, we really should move on. That's a lot of Astro Bot.
Astro Bot good.
It's too good,
very,
though.
very good.
It's so good.
I will be finishing that. The other big release this week is Space Marine 3. Sean's been playing it. John's been trying to get me to buy it. 2. Sorry. I'm just thinking back.
Wow, it's really belittling your game there, Sean.
Unbelievable.
No, I've heard nothing but good things about this. We've got Jay and our mate Zeno's playing it, and they're absolutely loving it. John's trying to convince me to buy it, but it's too much going on at the moment. So Space
which is fair
Marine
enough.
2.
But so obviously the first one came out, what was it, like 12 years ago, something like that. It was the only game I ever purchased on live. And that was how I played a few hours of it and really enjoyed it. But then obviously didn't pan out long term. And it was like the original was this, pure sort of 7 out of 10, but very well thought of, like really satisfying hybrid of like third person shooting and also melee combat. And also, if you're into Warhammer, not a bad story either. Like it ended on quite an interesting cliffhanger where basically the main character, Titus, who's a big space marine, got done for heresy, which basically I had to check because I couldn't remember why that happened, and it is literally because he's too hard. And like he's cool.
That's why James got done.
James get done for that every week.
Like he was tough to the point that it was like actually suspicious. And it makes the point that when you like the start of Space Marine 2, it's like it's this. Obviously, anyone who's into Warhammer knows all this already, but it's this very technologically advanced civilization, but also runs entirely on like religious dogma and superstition and stuff. And so the first game ends. He gets arrested effectively. Big old time skip forward to this game, and it hasn't. The point I'm at in the story, it hasn't fully filled in the blanks yet. But basically, it's implied that he had a very shit time. It was presumably tortured, but then as the game starts, he's in the Death Watch. I think it's the Death Watch. My knowledge of Warhammer is like not brilliant, but also I'm interested enough that when it brings this stuff up, I'll fucking Google it, and then I'll spend 20 minutes on a wiki being like, okay, this is like, I do find it quite interesting, but I'm not fully engaged, right? And then it's like, fucking hell, he's crossed the Rubicon Primaris, lads. Fucking hell. And I'm like, hang on, what's
not that again.
Apparently it was a thing they invented because they changed the size of the Space Marine figurines. And it's like, it's because they all go through this surgery that makes them tougher now or something. Don't know. Anyway, that happens to Titus, and now he's a bit stronger and bigger and stuff. And and basically the Tyranids, the sort of the ones that are most like the aliens from Aliens.
Do you know what you sound like now? You sound like a bloke in a pub in that universe. Just trying to explain what's going on outside. So basically, right, with a pint in your hand. God.
So the Tyranids have started invading this planet. You're sent in to start sorting shit out. And then the game commences proper. And it's fucking great. It's so much fun. It's gameplay wise, like not a huge amount has changed, but then also there's not been any. I can't think of any of the games that melded the sort of third person shooting and the melee stuff as well as the original did.
It looks
hang on. So
like Gears of War-ish, or is it not?
Yeah, is this a co-op shooter? Like third person co-op shooter?
You can play it. Well, the co-op stuff's interesting. I'll get onto that in a minute. Mm-hmm. It's not very Gears of War because there's no cover for starters. Like you're a walking tank. You're supposed to just fucking wade in. Like there's no like taking cover and sort of like there's some strategy to it, I guess. But it's sort of it's a bit Gears, but then it's also a bit like Dynasty Warriors in a sense, right? Because it's just these fucking like just hordes of enemies just coming at you, and you're just like wading through them. And it still does that, like I say, that sort of combination of the two gameplay styles really well, in that you are like, it's third person shooter controls, but then also the right bumper is always your melee weapon, and there's sort of like really smart, like it's all sort of one button combos, but it's like long presses or short presses for like different types of combos. There's like other melee weapons that change like their combo style, so some are better for like one-on-one combat with stronger opponents, whereas some are just good at clearing like enemies clearing areas of like weaker enemies. So so like I say, you start off fighting the Tyranids. There are other enemy types which I can't remember if that's a known thing or not, so I won't go into it, but you start off fighting the Tyranids. So it's these fights where, like I say, there's these hundreds and hundreds of the little fuckers who, for the most part, when they're at a distance, you can sort of machine gun at them and pick off a few, and then as they get closer, you start, like I say, just slashing through them with like whatever melee weapon you've got. But then within that, there's cool things like, even when there's a horde of them and you can just be effortlessly cutting your way through them, sometimes it'll flash up that one's about to do like a jumping attack at you. So then you hit your parry button and you'll fucking grab the guy out of midair, smash him on the ground, and then that'll like blast a load of the other enemies back away from you and give you a bit of space.
Nice.
You can also do if you do like one of your heavy melee attacks, again that'll push enemies away from you, and it will often put like a target on one of them, and then basically that means you press your fire button, and you get a cool little sort of 1 second bit where the camera sort of swoops down to your shoulder, and you do like this one powerful shot that takes that one enemy out completely. And then there's like bigger enemies. Some have guns, some have like bladed weapons or whatever. So you're engaging with them, either shooting or getting in for like proper sort of one-on-one sort of melee combat. And again, it's all parries, reading attacks and stuff. It's a bit Souls-ish, but not really. It's much lighter touch than that. but the point is, it's this constant within one encounter. You're just constantly engaging with like these different enemy types in different ways and different levels, and it just constantly feels like really invigorating and really fresh. Like there's no just like, all right, well this fight is like this type of encounter, and I'm just gonna like, oh, I'll pull out this is like a sniper bit or whatever. It's just constantly making you think at different ranges and different types of combat, and it's just so much fucking fun. And and it's all just fucking massive set pieces. Like visually, it's unbelievable. It's one of the best looking games I've ever seen, I think. And it's the fact that it's huge, like scenes and like huge encounters, like huge battles playing out, but also there's the attention to detail on the tiny stuff is like still really impressive as well. There's not a moment of like, oh well, they clearly thought I was going to just sprint past and not look at that closely. Like it's all just so ornately detailed. It's unbelievable. And like
some of the videos look absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it is stunning. It really reminds me of like I went to Warhammer World a few months ago, and they have these huge like dioramas of these battles playing out, right? And they're like super impressive, and they're cool to just look at, and like because obviously you're looking at a freeze frame, but then as you look into it, you can see little sort of narratives playing out, like, oh holy shit, there's like guy like he's about to fall off this cliff, but he's grabbed an alien as he's doing it, and it's, just little stories playing out, and it feels like at any point you could pause it and fly around the battlefield and spot that sort of thing going on in the game. Like there's just so much going on. There's like huge armies coming at you from like a huge distance away, and you kind of obviously as a seasoned player of video games, you sort of like, oh well, that'd be like smoke and mirrors, right? There won't be like real enemies until they come close, or they won't actually come close to me, or there'll be like another bunch of enemies will come in. But like, no, it's all real and it's all playing out and it's all happening, and you can shoot enemies that really, there's not much point when there's a certain distance away. But yeah,
so you're saying mag walked so this game could run?
Yes. 100%.
Nothing without mag. The 256 enemies.
And like, yeah, these, huge armies coming at you, and you're just sort of stood on like this cliff face or whatever, and like all these enemies are coming, and you're like, well shit, what do I do? Or like, what are they going to do when they get here? And they all sort of reach the cliff, and they're all like scrambling on top of each other to try and reach you. And you're just fucking grenade. Like it's just
what was it that what was that zombie game? World Wars Z or whatever.
That
did a lot of that stuff, and it was I was surprised we didn't see more of that. It's good to see. The friends that have been playing it have said that it really reminds them of Gears of War, and I'm watching footage now, and I can totally see why. Like, it feels
with
like
that
an
chainsaw type stuff.
It's just fucking great.
Or did Gears of War nick it from Warhammer?
Or that.
Yeah.
Well, not the gameplay.
The law, David, the law.
It's fucking great. It's really, really good fun. And what has been interesting is, so I'm playing through the campaign. I think you can play the campaign co-op.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
But then on top of that, there's also operations, which are really interesting because you do a mission in the campaign where you commanding officers like, right, like I'll give you another squad to help out, okay, and basically this other squad is gonna run a diversion for you, so at a critical point in the mission everything works out because this other squad has done something else, and it comes up like, oh, if you want to find out what they got up to, do this operation. So basically all of the operations are like these separate missions where you play as these other squads who did other stuff while you were doing the campaign.
Right.
Which sounds really interesting. I've not got involved in them yet. Apparently they're really fucking hard. But they're designed like entirely to be played in co-op, I believe. And that's where like you can make like a custom Space Marine and do all the, paint the armor, not literally paint the armor, but like you choose colors for different parts and stuff. And yeah, it's wicked. It's really, really good. There's a PvP mode as well. I don't think I've got any interest in that. But nice that it's there, I guess.
Yeah, is this the kind? I was going to ask, is this kind of game that you do the campaign and it's got the whole like end game and like is it like a bit of a Destiny type thing in like live servicey, or is it actually not that?
No, it looks like you can do the PvP stuff or the other missions to like. I think you can like earn currency and earn more bits for your Space Marine and customize it more and stuff. But I don't know if there's much more to it than that. Like it's like from what they've built so far, it looks like they could just keep adding more like operations, right? These sort of side missions that are designed for co-op. But it's not like You know, like when
battle
you said, like,
passes and
yeah, it's
dailies.
like, you know, when
and...
like everyone played Avengers, or not everyone.
Yeah,
Few
no
people
one
played
did.
Avengers and went like, why have they put this game as service shit in it? Like, it's nowhere near that.
Right.
And if you don't know or care for Warhammer, you souvenirs enough of a game here
it's
to
definitely still a
to-
very enjoyable game. Yeah, a lot of the terms and stuff you will be bewildered by. I mean, it's still like it's a fascinating setting. Like the whole aesthetic of it, even now, like there's nothing else quite like it. In that it's like it's not really steampunk, but it's super high technology, but fused with, like, say, this sort of religious fanaticism stuff. Like the fact that you get given this cool new suit of armor, and there's like someone's like writing scripture on this bit of fucked old bit of paper, which then gets stamped with a wax seal on your armor. And it's just like weird stuff like that just seems really sort of incongruous, but it works. It's like it's still such a unique aesthetic and a unique setting. But also, it's very much like obviously the game's sort of like, well, you're protecting humanity, but it's like, oh yeah, we're basically like space Nazis. Like, it's really not. Like, and Warhammer has always been sort of quietly poking fun at people who think like the Space Marines are the good guys. Because it's very much like, oh, all aliens are bad inherently, and they're all filth and scum, and it's not subtle. But yeah, I've been really fucking enjoying it. I will definitely be finishing the campaign. Hopefully, I'll have a few mates to do the operations with.
Yeah, I can't go over how good this looks.
As,
Just watching this 1080p video on IGN. It's like, fucking, this looks amazing like this. Like, it's the scale and the amount of enemies you can see. It looks.
Yeah.
The Combine Hunter in the chat has pointed out that it's the same devs as World War Z. So that's that's a great observation from me there.
Yeah,
well done.
Great observation.
Great
Only one more game to talk about, and I'll be brief because we spoke about it last week. But I played a lot more of Star Wars Outlaws, and oh, my word, I fucking love that game. I landed in well, as I mentioned earlier, I was just doing some of the stuff in Tatooine and meeting some of the characters. I'm really loving the characters. I'm really loving the interactions. I'm loving the atmosphere. It's still a broken mess in places. I had a hard crash to the dashboard this week, which wasn't good, but I cannot wait to finish Astro Bot and then go on to finish this, because I need to get this done before my Ubisoft Plus subscription.
Yeah, I've got one in.
I want to finish this game. I'm fucking loving it. I don't know if you played much more of it, James, but holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, I played a bit more. I got to.
Yeah, James played this between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Then he went back on to Astro Bot.
See, that's the thing. I finished Astro Bot, and I was like, okay, what do I play next? And
Talk to
you
your
were
family.
like, go back to Star Wars, and I did, and I played it for a bit, and I got to Tatooine, which is pretty cool. But
Did
I
you
need
do
to
that? Did you choose that even though the game?
Yes.
Did you go to the other planet first?
Nope, I didn't do that. I just went straight to
I
Tatooine.
love that. There's a point where it goes, right, you can go to Tatooine or you can go to this other planet, but I suggest you go to the other planet first, like, seriously. And I was like, okay, I'll do that, and I'll save the Tatooine stuff until towards the end. And James was like, fuck
no.
you, don't tell me what to do. I want to go back and see my Star Wars.
Exactly.
Like,
That is why. But the sequence that you go through before, like, you get to go there was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. I had a great time in that. Like navigating that. That was where it started to feel a bit more like Uncharted. Like, if you sort of mean that whole section was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, there's plenty more of that stuff, and there were a lot of people have been complaining about the stealth and the amount of stealth in it. I understand that, but also if you're going into this and you're frustrated by the stealth at the start of the game, just know that the stealth is broken and doesn't really work properly. So you can literally just go, well, actually, I'm just going to stand behind this little thing and whistle, and they'll come one by one over, and I'll knock them out one by one, and that's how you get through the stealth bits, because it doesn't really work and you're completely overpowered.
Or like when it all kicks off and there's all like alarms going off, it's like, I'm just gonna go sit in a vent for a little bit. Then they all get a bit bored after a while.
I shoot them and then walk over to the alarm and turn it off.
Yeah.
They must be fine then.
Yeah, there are parts of the game where you can't be caught. The moment you're caught is the end of the game, but they're rare, and also the stealth is really fucking easy. So,
I mean,
fair enough.
They're also apparently they're going to be patching this soon anyway, because Ubisoft heard that people were not happy with like the insta-fail stuff, particularly at the beginning of the game.
That's
And
right.
apparently
I'd heard that. Yeah,
there's going to be fixes to that.
the first time that you go into that Pike area, that is really frustrating. And I remember thinking, oh, maybe I'm not going to play this. But once you get through that, the game's like way easier. So I don't know why they opted to open with an instant fail stealth bit that's way too hard. But I'm going to finish it. I'm really enjoying it, and I make no apologies for that. The game should never have been released in this state. That is the end of my view on that game. So, questions. Have we got time for questions? Where are we at? Where are we at?
Yeah, we've got time.
A bit, haven't we?
We've got time for a couple.
We have
We'll
a
do a
bit.
couple.
Go on, let's do a few questions.
If you want to
Let's
send
do
us a
10.
question, go to tcgs.co/Dear TCGS. Chimp Biscuit says on last week's episode, which was actually a couple of weeks ago because we saved this one, Sean spoke about how awesome he thought Reanimal looks, the new game by the Little Nightmare devs. I agree, it looks fantastic, and the Little Nightmares games are both underappreciated gems. However, Sean then went on to say that how he definitely wouldn't play it because it looked a bit scary. Does Sean, and to a lesser extent Dave and Matt, but not James because he's hard as fuck, ever feel like they're missing out by not going anywhere near games that have a sense of mild peril to them? What's the limit to what he'll play, and has he ever been enjoying a game but then turned it off because it was too much for him to handle? I ask these questions out of love because I really do think that Sean is missing out on some games that he'd love if he'd only stop being such a big wussy wuss bag. Hugs and kisses, Chimp Biscuit.
Yeah, go on, Sean. What's your limit?
Yeah, no, like I know I'm missing out because obviously, like if I wasn't such a big wussy wuss bag, probably would have finished Alan Wake 2 a long time ago. Like I was persevering with it anyway because it's just that good, but but it's been a really slow burn for me because I really have to be in the right mindset for it. Ideally it has to be daytime because then the ghosts can't get you in real life.
But the scariest bit of that is probably the first area, really, like in the forest. There are other forestry bits, but once you've gone through that, it's kind of more the same.
Yeah, it's not so bad. Like there's spooky stuff happening, but you feel weirdly, I don't know, sort of
melancholy
in control
about
of it. And it's more just a bit sad and unsettling rather than
just scary, if anything.
But yeah, and like obviously I'm aware, and there's games like Soma, right, which I know has like a peaceful mode where the monsters can't kill you, but still part of me is like, but is it gonna freak me out? But everyone's like, no, it's like one of the best sci-fi stories ever fucking told. Like you should totally play it. So yeah, I'm very aware there are things I'm missing out on, but I just don't know.
I don't like horror games. So I don't feel like I'm missing out. I just won't play horror games. I'm not entertained by going. I'm not entertained by any of that. So it's like I'm.
Well, that's the thing because like obviously that stuff's in Alan Wake 2, and you can they added the option to like lessen it, but actually doesn't fucking barely makes any difference as far as I could tell. But that to me that's a really unsophisticated way to do horror, right? Is the Jack in the Box stuff. And Alan Wake 2 does so many more interesting things that it does really make me feel like, why put that jump scare shit in? Like it doesn't.
Well, that's what I liked about that. Because Until Dawn is full of jump scares, right?
Right.
But the way they do it is like it's funny.
It's a comedy way.
It's a comedy jump scare where it's like, and it's like, okay, you're right, you got me. Yeah. What I don't like is the long, 10-minute segments of walking really slowly through an area and going, I know there's a jump scare coming. Can we just get it out of the way, please?
No, it's that. Like, I look forward to that taking me by surprise in a moment.
And it does. Like it does get me, but it's that build up to it that I just find so fucking annoying. And it fucks me up that I just go, I'm not enjoying playing it, so I'm gonna stop. Whereas Until Dawn, it was. You'd open a cupboard and a rat would like run out and it go, and it makes a loud noise. And you're going, well, at least I've not been sat here for ages with a torch in a really dark room going, okay, come on. It's horrible, that stuff. But I don't feel like I'm missing out because I know I wouldn't be enjoying it anyway, would I? Know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
All right.
Next question. So have you got any YouTube channel recommendations? Not necessarily gaming, just the sort of cool channel with a decent backlog of work that you can binge for a week or two and come away from feeling like you've laughed a lot or something.
No, I'm trying.
Do you know
to
what
look
I got
at
into recently? It came up as a YouTube recommendation.
Pornography.
It's fucking brilliant. It's this channel on YouTube called Bimbalism. And it's a guy who looks pretty much exactly like me, who lives in Northwest, lives in Warrington, and he just does videos where he cycles around and just talks about like local history. And it's fucking great. It's really good. Like when he's doing the cycling bits, it's like playing these songs, right? Oh, these songs are actually pretty good. I wondered, he does them. It's all his songs. And like so he's like it's quite a talented musician. He's like they're not comedy videos. He's just a naturally sort of affable fella, I think. Yeah, and they're just quite interesting. And obviously because he's in the Northwest, he's like done loads of places I know, and like some town where I grew up and stuff, and like yeah, it's proper good, really nice.
I'm looking through my the people that I subscribe to now. The vast majority of them are ASMR channels or bands that I like. So picking out the ones that aren't that, obviously, I do gaming is very good. That's a very good YouTube channel. Highly recommend that. Do gaming? That's brilliant. There's she says at Boundary Break. The Boundary Break videos, if you've got any interest in how video games are made, watch that. It's fucking brilliant. The idea is that they find a way to unlock the camera in video games and explore areas of the map and the areas of the game that you will not see. Like one of my favourites is when they play Animal Crossing: A New Leaf and they unlock the camera. They pull the camera out and you can see just the rotating cylinder that you're running along. It's brilliant. Like it's so clever the way it does that. And what happens, but like in Simpsons Hit and Run, when Homer Simpson walks into his house after this mission, what happens to him? And sometimes they just disappear, but sometimes they T-pose, sometimes they teleport to another part of the map just out of shot. And honestly, the amount of menus that you think is just a flat image with text over the top, and they go, no, it's fully 3D. Look, 3D, you could just see, and you go, holy fuck, that is how they do it. That is incredible. Boundary Break is absolutely quality. Yeah, that's highly recommended.
Seems to be a growing thing of like stand-ups just putting full sets online now. There's a American stand-up called Josh Johnson who's really good. He just puts up stuff constantly. Conor O'Malley a couple of months ago put his latest special up for free on YouTube. That's amazing. The Joe Perra one's up for free as well.
Right.
Yeah, those are good stuff.
Yeah.
I really liked it was, I mean, Ian has talked about this before, like this guy, it's Stuart Millard, who does these videos on YouTube, which are, it's the usual thing where he's like, he watches like old, like sort of, old VHSs and stuff like that from stuff, but the stuff that he picks are very good. And just like, for example, like there was one video which I was laying in bed watching it and I was just laughing because it was for Jeremy Beadle's Practical Jokes video, and it's like that has aged as badly as you'd imagine. And it's
Really?
like, what's amazing about it is you watch all this stuff, and it's all stuff from like the sort of the 80s and like early 90s and stuff, and you just watch it. I'm just like, this stuff was horrendous. Like actually, like there's a lot of really terrible material here, and it's the kind of thing like it gives like a look back to like how the UK was, how I remember it being when I was a kid. And also just like how mean society was in general, and like how sort of mean-spirited everything was, and it was and it's really interesting to see that, but like through like this lens, it's really good. It's I enjoy it.
Yeah, the 90s and the early noughties in particular, it was the comedy then was. What's the most offensive thing I can say?
Yeah.
What's the
how risque can I be?
Laugh at these people. We can point and laugh and say horrible things. It's mad, isn't it?
I mean, this gets even worse because he does all these like. There's one of them he did which was the it's like Jim Davidson's Gulf War like what's it called? Like it was like one of those like a benefit gig for like Gulf War One.
I've seen that. Yeah, I think my dad had it.
And yeah, it's horrendous. Like
I can't imagine. I cannot imagine. Yeah.
My word. I've got a couple of answers. Yeah. My first one I always say is ContraPoint. It's Natalie Wynn, philosopher, or she calls herself YouTuber ex-philosopher, but she does not as regularly as she used to. The last one was actually 6 months ago, but video essays on gender, ethics, race, philosophy, sometimes popular culture. I think her views are amazing, and her videos are really, grandiose. But yeah, she's not as regular as she used to be. And she'll say, "Oh, I'm definitely working on the next one," and everyone's like, "Okay, well, however long it's gonna take, we'll wait." And it'll be like a 4 hour. The last was like a 4 hour piece on like Twilight, but it's not just Twilight movies. It's like what they represent, and yeah, it's always really fascinating. I love her videos. The other one is Honest Places, which I think is basically, he's a Manc guy who goes around rundown towns and rough estates and just wanders around. He often wants to find like the local rough pub, and he'll go in there, and it's just him and his him and his phone and a camera, and it's just really interesting. Going to rough parts of anywhere, Leeds, or often up north, but anywhere, even down in London, and he'll find like the working man's club, or he'll try and get in and see what the Guinness is like often, and Honest Places is really interesting. Just a little wander around rough or rundown places.
Cool. All right.
MD Krabuffs says, has someone ever had to explain a piece of popular culture to you?
Yeah, Matt had to explain Brat Summer to me earlier.
I had to explain it to my wife the other day as well.
Brat Summer? What's Brat Summer?
Well, it's over now, so
it's officially dead.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, don't worry about it.
if you didn't know, you weren't part of the.
You missed out. It's Charlie XCX thing.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Okay.
I'm a big fan of.
Well, it's really funny because I like a band called Courting. I've spoken about them before on this pod and on social media and stuff. And they've got a Discord, and I'm in their Discord. And it's just the band chatting to a few of their friends, and fans and stuff. And I worked out very early on that I'm probably double the age of the majority of the people in that Discord. And it is a bit, and all I saw one week in there was brat, question mark, brat, like all the way. And I'm going, what the fuck? So I had to Google it and found out it was Charlie XCX. And I listened to it, I wasn't a fan. But
I knew album's excellent. But yeah.
Okay, I wasn't a fan. But it's really highlighting to me that I'm getting old now. 40 this year.
Oh no!
This year.
Sounds horrendous.
Practically,
It's not very skibbity
no
toilet
more
of you, is it, David?
What the Sigma? Oh, shut up, my kids! Constantly. Oh, that's shit. Can't stand it. All right.
Last one. From
Yeah.
Mike. He says, "Hey guys."
The first time I heard that was Charlie saying it. Charlie coming in. What did Charlie come into the front room? Right. I told you that my 5-year-old son, is a fucking liar. Right. Have I told you this? Like, he lies all the time. Right. And thinks he's getting away with it. Right. He walked into the front room. This was months ago, and went, "Skibbity toilet, get me right, yeah. Ohio, get Riz," like that. And I just went, "What?" He went, "Skibbity toilet will be mine, yeah. Ohio, get Riz." And I went, "What are you?" Right, firstly, what are you saying? He's like, "What? And I went, "Right, where have you heard that? Because I don't even know what that means. Where's that come from?" And he went, "Well, Harry said it." And Harry went, "I've never said that in my life, Dad. I've never said that in my life." And Charlie looked at me and went, "Yes, he did. 2 years ago."
I remember you saying that. Yeah.
I was like, "You're full of shit, boy." That stuff weirds me out because they are genuinely talking another language, and me saying that means that I'm now my dad, and that scares the shit out of me. Okay, go on.
Mike says, "Hey guys, now that Astro Bot is the breakout hit of the year, I'm wondering if Dave is going to rescind his long-held grudge about Rescue Mission beating Red Dead 2 in the Game of the Year show. After all, the new game is already getting Game of the Year buzz, which makes you guys look ahead of the curve, if you ask me.
Damn straight.
On a side note, can you fucking imagine being a kid who gets Astro Bot for Christmas this year? Can you fucking imagine that? Cheers."
Well, yeah, Jesus Christ, can you imagine?
Yeah, core memories are being made this Christmas playing that. They're like, Mario what? Who?
Why do people think this is the same game? It's not the same game. It's a different game. This is.
We know that, but we were big
you're
enough.
ahead of the curve by giving the other game of the year.
Yeah, because we saw the creativity, and like that other game was excellent. Most people are like VR bollocks, and like actually, it's brilliant. So up yours.
Yeah, it is brilliant, but it's not as good as Red Dead Redemption 2, and that is a fact. That's not
Platform
an
is
opinion,
better.
That's a fact, Matt. That's a
Platforming is better.
fact. Red Dead Redemption 2 was better than Astro Bot Rescue Mission. No, I'm not going to give up the grudge because that game. Look, for me so far, Astro Bot is my game of the year. I fucking love it. It's brilliant. That does not make that decision any better that we made 3 or 4 years ago, whenever it was. That was the wrong decision. We fucked it, and I'm still angry about it. I look back at that and go, actually, that's embarrassing. Like, that one is embarrassing.
Is that more embarrassing
than
than Trackmania?
No, because we all love Trackmania. Like, we really, really love Trackmania.
Yeah, we still do. We still do. We still fucking do, don't we?
Life is Strange 2, again.
Yeah,
we all
that one did
really,
my
really
nut
like
in,
that.
just because we all played it.
Tell
I
you
mean,
what.
What was it up against?
It Takes Two should have got further as well. That was an
It
amazing
Takes Two
game.
did well.
Yeah.
Disco
But, yeah,
Elysium,
should have done better.
Disco
Outer
Elysium!
Wilds.
Fuck it! Oh, don't, Sean. Don't. I re-listened to
Disco Elysium
Yeah.
probably should have won that.
Yeah.
But the one
Yeah,
that sticks with me
no.
that I look at and go, that's fucking embarrassing, is Astro Bot Rescue Mission over Red Dead Redemption 2. Well,
Look,
mate, it was
don't blame me. Blame the format.
That is worse than last year when we voted on a game that only one of us had
That
played.
was fucking incredible.
Yeah, but
Spider-Man 2 out of
James and
there.
I played it since and agree with the decision. So
Right,
Yeah.
okay, but you made that decision based on things your friends had said. You hadn't. It wasn't your own opinion at that point.
I made
It
a
was
compelling
completely
argument.
it was my opinion on those things they said.
Yeah. It was,
Do you know, it's going to be really conflicting Game of the Year this year because James has constantly gone, oh, we can't just go for the obvious choice. The obvious choice every
Well, yeah,
time.
and obviously I'll be looking forward to James not supporting Astro Bot in the
Yes.
Game of the Year. show
Yeah,
this
because
year.
No,
it's
it's
the
'cause
obvious
it's
choice,
not
right?
another top
Too
down
obvious.
indie game, so it's
Oh
fine.
right, okay, but it's not the obvious choice.
No, it's not.
Right, okay.
It's not a game, previous series, game in the series.
But
kind of, yeah,
alternatively, it's my Game of the Year so far. So what can you do? I tell you
yeah,
what,
it's
I'm
hard to top it right
already-
now.
I'm already excited. What if Plucky Squire comes out and it's even better?
That's fucking this week, isn't it?
Next week. I
Next
looked, it's
week.
the 16th, I think.
So nothing out this week.
I don't think there's anything out this week.
Okay.
In fact, actually, I think
Good, because I've got 2 games to play.
FC25
That's-
launches early doors on Friday, I think.
Yeah, if you buy the £200 version or whatever it is.
Yeah.
See you there.
Tempted.
See you there, mate.
And then Zelda. The new
Oh
Zelda.
god, I'm so psyched for that. The preview sound very good.
I am, but you're playing as the bird in it. Come on, it said no. What's it? Fucking woke or what?
Fucking, you can't even play a game with Link anymore because of the wokerati.
They should have called it Link. They
No,
should
but
have called it
they
Link.
should have called it, Legend of Link. Why didn't they?
Yeah, they should have.
Because of fucking woke in it.
It's because of woke. Is
And the
that
Spanish.
it for the questions? Wait, there's so many episode titles. We got the Spanish better be on your list because that is a good one as well. Okay. Are we done? We are done, right?
I'm not sure I
Should we
can
do
call it the
socials?
Spanish, but okay.
Go on.
Oh, I deleted socials, so now I'm like, what did
Yeah,
I say?
I was really worried. I was like, oh god, did I do this by accident?
No, we deleted it when James was reading them out last time, but I
Ah.
don't need that. I can do it myself, baby. So we stream on Twitch. If you go to twitch.tv/TCGSCO or search TCGS in the app, you'll see when we're streaming live. If you miss on live, you actually can go to YouTube and search TCGS and you will see the VODs of the previous streams we've done. But back on Twitch, you've got Amazon Prime and a Twitch account. Connect them. You get something called Twitch Prime Gaming, and they give you one sub a month to give to any channel of your choosing. Why not go to our channel? Give us a free sub. We really appreciate everyone who does. We're on Patreon, which is patreon.com/TCGS to support what we're doing over here. Get monthly exclusive podcasts, talk servers, gameplay streams. We've got some dates in for what we're doing this month. Should be a good one. So yeah, support us if you want to over at patreon.com/TCGS. And the website is tcgs.co for links to our amazing store, which is tcgs.co/store. For the latest in Red Hot TCGS merch, our incredible Discord community, socials, podcasts, other bits like that.
On
Well, thank you
the
so-
merch, not giving
Oh,
anything away, but
Oh,
I've been in the lab. I've been working on something.
there may
Let
be a
him
new
cook.
t-shirt
Am I
coming.
right, boys? No.
Yeah, if only you could spell it correctly. Thank you so much for living it. We will be back next week with some more video game chit chat. Goodbye, everyone. We hope you have a good week. Goodbye.
Fuck off.
That's not very nice.
What was that? What was that?
Oh, sorry.
No, hold on.
Sorry.
Stop the exit music.
What is this? Is this Succession? What's
Hold
going
on.
on?
Yeah, I watched
Stop
the
the
first
exit.
session.
What was that for?
Just thought I'd like. It's my new thing now.
He's bringing the punk
it's
back.
not-
I'm edgy
Not
now,
really.
David.
Fuck.
David, I'm
You've got it
edgy.
in ya.
I'm
You've
edgy.
not got the minerals.
I have
not
got the
for
minerals
that.
to pay the minerals. I've got.
I've got the minerals to pay the bills.
Yeah, it's like the skills to pay the bills. You just talk to Harry
It's
about
a thing
it.
cool people say, Dave.
Yeah.
We wouldn't get it.
Is this
Bye,
that
everyone.
thing that you had to explain? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
If you can't handle me, okay, bye everyone.
Okay, bye everyone. Bye.
If you can't handle me,